Hola, hola, bienvenidos a mi canal So Far So Happy. Yo soy Ginoski, astróloga y lectora de tarot, acompañándote hoy en un watch party de el juicio de Johnny Depp y su ex-wife, su ex-esposa. Voy a compartir la pantalla para que nos pongamos aquí a ver juntos.
And you tell her, I don't love any of them, correct?
Right.
And
Sustained. We did go through this yesterday, but go ahead.
and 2 days later is when you sent your brother the text messages that said, stop booze, stop coke, stop pills, correct?
I'm not looking at it. I don't recall the timing of it.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, redirect.
Si no les molesta, voy a ir maquillándome aquí mientras veo este show.
Good morning, Ms. Dombrowski.
Good morning.
During Mr. Rottenborn's examination yesterday and again this morning, he spent a lot of time talking to you about your brother's alleged drug and alcohol abuse. Do you remember that?
Yes.
You're not denying that Mr. Depp ever used alcohol or drugs, are you?
Objection leading.
It's redirect, Your Honor.
Let's still leading. I'll sustain as leading if you want to rephrase your question.
You also testified several times in response to Mr. Rottenborn's questions that Ms. Heard tends to say things in a more dramatic manner. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
Why did you say that?
I've had my own interaction one-on-one with Ms. Heard, so I know a bit about her personality. She would present information to me that was not necessarily information that was supported by everybody else that was around. And I've spent a lot of years working with my brother. We have a close team. It's many years of trusted people helping, make sure that everything in life, it works out and goes smoothly. But all those people where I would have a daily contact, whether it's about scheduling or just how the day's going for all the years, those people never said the same thing.
Objection hearsay, Your Honor.
I think it was responsive to the question.
Well, I'll sustain the last sentence.
Your
Just the last sentence of it, that's all.
Understood, Your
Okay.
Honor. I think it goes to state of mind rather than the
Right.
truth.
I just did the last sentence. I'll sustain just the last sentence.
Thank you,
Strike
Ryan.
the last sentence. Okay.
And do you recall your testimony yesterday when you stated that after the phenomenal success of Pirates One, one of the changes to Mr. Depp's, your brother's,
Hola, hola, bienvenidos.
that there were a lot more people around him.
Si te gusta el drama hollywoodense,
Yes.
estás en el lugar perfecto.
When Johnny and Miss Heard became involved in a relationship several years later, were there still a lot of people around them, your brother, on a regular basis?
Yes.
Who were those people?
He had assistants, he had security, he had, property managers, people that helped at the house. He had quite a few people that were around all the time.
How often did you communicate with those people?
I communicated daily, not necessarily with each one of those people, but I communicated pretty much daily with people within the...
Para, si no lo sabes, esta es la hermana mayor de Johnny Depp.
Did any of those people ever raise the same concerns that Miss Heard did?
Objection hearsay.
All right.
Again, it goes to state of mind.
I'll sustain the objection as to hearsay. Next question.
What, if any, concerns were expressed about Johnny's behavior when using alcohol?
Objection hearsay.
All right.
Again, it goes to state of mind.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
All right. Is this witness subject to recall?
I do not believe so, Your Honor.
She's subject to recall? No. All right, Mr. Brusky, you're free to go, or you can stay in the courtroom. It's up to you, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much,
Wow.
Mr. Brusky.
Por fin terminó
Our
el
next
testimonio
witness.
de la hermana mayor de Johnny Depp.
Good morning, ma'am. Isaac Peruch. All right. We'll get him. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Tenemos un nuevo testigo.
While we're waiting for him, can you spell his last name for the court reporter for me?
Yes, Baruch.
Thank you.
Johnny parece que está contento con el performance de su hermana. Y la verdad sí siento que la energía de su hermana es como muy grounding, como muy seria, como que esto no es un juego, like. Y bueno, pues que sí, como que no es un secreto que Johnny Depp abusa del alcohol y de las drogas. Lo que se está debatiendo aquí es pues si es suficientemente peligroso pues para Amber y para en general, ¿no? Pues si de verdad él es quien se convierte cuando, al menos según la versión de Amber, ¿no? Que dice que cuando él está drogado y tomado, pues la abusaba, le pegaba, la penetraba, mejor dicho, que no le hacía, y después se le olvidaba todo, pues porque estaba en drogas. Ahora, pues la defensa, bueno, lo que dice Johnny Depp es que todo esto es una difamación, que puede que sí, o sea, aunque aquí no han dicho así como que sí, ok, Johnny tiene problemas de drogadicción, pero es como que sí tomaba, eso sí, y tomaba un medicamento prescribido por el doctor, es que es curioso, un painkiller, una medicación para no sentir dolor, a la cual pues estuvo por mucho tiempo tomando, y pues al parecer esas son las pastillas que la hermana se refiere que estaba preocupada y que no quería que él siguiera tomando. Pero, ¿sabes?
Morning.
Would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Isaac Baruch. ISAAC BARUCH.
Mr. Baruch, where do you currently live?
I live in Los Angeles.
Do you know the plaintiff in this case, Johnny Depp?
Yes.
How do you know Mr. Depp?
I know him since teenagers. We met in Florida.
Oh.
And could you tell the jury a little bit about your experience meeting Mr. Depp when you were teenagers in Florida?
Yeah, we were both playing in bands. We had mutual friends, and that we met in probably 1980. And yeah, we hit it off. We got along with each other, and yeah.
How often did you see Mr. Depp when you were teenagers together in Florida?
A few times a month. I'd say it could be more, a little more or whatever, because, you know, we see each other at parties and clubs, nightclubs where the bands play. Yeah, like that.
And for how long were you both living in Florida and seeing each other somewhat regularly?
Well, we met in like 1980, so and then we both moved away. He moved to California, I moved to New York. What was that, 80 to 83? What's that, like 4 years?
What were your impressions of Mr. Depp while you were both living in Florida at the same time?
Oh, he's a sweet kid. A sweet guy.
Sir, wait, there's an objection.
Oh.
Thank you.
What his impressions were back then.
Or what's the relevance?
Just establishing the background and the relationship you're on.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Mr. Baruch, did there come a time when Mr. Depp moved away from Florida?
Yeah.
And where did he move to, if you know?
Like I said before, he moved to California.
At some point in time, did you also move to California?
Yeah.
And did you reconnect with Mr. Depp when you got there?
Yeah.
Around what time was that?
Sometime during the first year, and then afterwards, after the first year, more and stuff. Yeah.
About what year would you say that was?
Oh, I moved to California in September of '85.
And did you know if Mr. Depp was working when you arrived in California in 1985?
I knew he was pursuing acting at that time. Yeah, I think he's looking for work because he's pursuing acting.
How often did you see Mr. Depp when you first moved to California?
Well, like I said, the first year, a few times. Afterwards, I had a friend who whose girlfriend lived in the same building as Johnny, and so then hanging out over there, I ended up seeing Johnny more often. And plus, my friend who I'm talking about, whose girlfriend lived in the same building, he was playing in a band, and they needed another guitar player, and Johnny ended up joining the band, so we were hanging out a lot more often.
What were you doing when you moved out to California?
I was pursuing music also, working retail jobs and trying to get a band, have a little band, yeah.
Did there come a time when you began working for Mr. Depp?
Oh, yeah.
When was that?
Oh, that's later on. That's like in 1993.
What were you doing for Mr. Depp when you started working for him in 1993?
Well, he owned a place called the Viper Room, and which is a music venue, nightclub, bar, and bands play. And it was already open for 6 months. And the girl who was working, the person who was working as office manager didn't want to work there anymore. So the guy who was running the place for Johnny, who was a friend named Sal Jenko, another Florida friend from back in 1980 when we all first meet, he calls me up and he says, "Hey, Isaac, do you want to work this job?"
I don't think it's offered for the truth of the matter. I mean, that's fine. I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead.
At some point in time, did you stop working at the Viper Room for Mr. Depp?
Oh, yeah.
When was that?
Well, I worked from 93 to 98. In 98, I moved away.
Did you return to LA again at some point?
Yes, I did.
When was that?
I moved back December of 2002.
What did you do for work when you returned to LA?
Well, for 2 weeks, I worked at an art gallery, and then I went back to the Viper Room on New Year's Eve.
How long were you working at the Viper Room at that point in time?
It was another year, and then the place changed hands.
Were you working on anything else while you were working at the Viper Room in that time frame?
Yeah, I was sidewise. I was teaching myself art.
And what steps were you taking to teach yourself art at that time?
Books, learning how to draw and paint, and taking community college classes.
At some point in time, did you begin pursuing art on a full-time scale?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, working at the Viper Room, taking classes, and then at one point, the club changed hands completely after a year, 2004. And I was given a choice of either keep working for these new owners, or Johnny, out of his pocket, was going to give a severance pay to whoever didn't want to work there anymore. So I took the severance pay, and then it helped me continue on to finish community classes, private classes, and then be able to transfer to Cal State University.
And did you get a degree from Cal State University?
Yes, I did.
What degree was that?
BFA,
What year?
2010.
After you received your BFA, did you continue to pursue art full-time?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Depp ever express an interest in your art?
Yeah.
Este es un amigazo de Johnny.
Well, first time we saw a painting in 2008. And then the next time was 2012. I had made a painting and sent it to my best friend, in an email. And he forwarded it to Johnny, and Johnny emailed back saying, "Hey, when Isaac wants to sell that, whenever he wants to sell that, to go ahead and get in touch with me because I want to buy it.
Did Mr. Depp ever buy that painting?
No,
Why not?
because when I brought over paintings, I had moved back to California, and I brought over a bunch of paintings for him to look at and see if he wants any, to buy any. And he looked at me and says, I got an idea. How about I be your patron, and we put together an art show, make a body of work, and then I'll throw a party and invite people, and I'll sell the stuff for you, and you could keep all the money. So he didn't buy any paintings there. Instead, he offered me a complete patronship.
So what did you understand he meant by becoming your patron?
Well, he's going to financially make it possible for me to just paint every day and put together a body of work, so that way then it could be sold.
Qué
How
bonito.
did he plan to do that?
Yo quiero un amigo así como Johnny.
What he planned on doing.
What did you understand he planned to do
Well, I
to make that possible for you?
I could tell you that what it included was that the next day I ended up moving into I moved into a art studio penthouse at the Eastern Columbia building. It was, listen, I got a place for you to go ahead and live and work and put this body of art together, and I'll take care of you. You don't have to worry about anything.
And what was the place where you were going to live that Mr. Depp offered you?
The Eastern Columbia building.
Did you take him up on that offer to live at the Eastern Columbia building?
Yeah, of course.
¿Quién no lo haría?
And
¿Quién no
how did
lo
that
haría?
make you feel?
I started crying. Is one day you're in your mother's garage selling paintings for $100, $200, $300 on eBay. Next thing you know, it's an art show, and like you don't have to worry about diddly squat. Of course,
Wow.
of course. I was flipping out.
When did you move into the Eastern Columbia building?
The next day after we met and we talked. The next day, I get a phone call from a guy named Kevin Murphy, who is working for Johnny, and and he says, hey, meet me at this address. And I go and I meet him, and here I am in front of this building. This is a beautiful building. This is like, it's whatever, 13 floors, but it's like from the 1930s, some Art Deco, beautiful building. And I'm looking, I'll go, all right, this is unreal. What, there's going to be, all right, it's going to be one of these apartments or whatever, one of these places here. I go in with Kevin Murphy. He takes me all the way up to the roof. We go into penthouse 2, and I walk in and I'm like crying, going, it's beautiful. It's like
El sueño.
Situation to me.
El sueño
How long
cumplido.
did you end up living at the Eastern Columbia building?
3 years and 7 months.
Your Honor, I'd like to show the witness plaintiff's exhibit 116.
116.
Vamos a ver qué tienen aquí. Porque si no estoy mal, este testigo lo llamó el equipo de Amber Heard. Entonces, no sé,
Am I
seguro
looking at something?
aquí hay algo.
Second, sir.
Le quieren sacar un trapito sucio a Johnny Depp. Eso es lo que creo. Ay, la abogada y Johnny. Chévere. Vamos a ver. Están tratando de exhibir algo de evidencia. Vamos a ver qué tienen para... En contra de Johnny Depp. Imagino que esto va a ser algo que no va a jugar a favor de él. Vamos a ver si puede de alguna manera disregard, pues como hacer que no sea lo suficientemente evidente, o bueno, vamos a ver, estos casos siempre son súper como que cosas pasan que uno es como que, ¿what? ¿Qué pasó? Son mejor que una película, la verdad. Porque es real, esto es real life, chicos. O sea, aquí no hay script, aquí estamos viendo a los actores sin su
I'm just gonna
script.
pull the paper copy. Don't tell me.
Se me olvida cómo se dice script
You
en
can see it, but you
español.
can't see it.
Libreto. Pero bueno, sí me parece muy, muy bonito pues que Johnny Depp haya apoyado a su amigo de la adolescencia. Eso es chévere, ¿no? Cuando una persona logra llegar con su arte hasta ese punto. Lo digo porque yo por mi parte soy un artista y creo que no he tenido
We'll just use the paper copy.
la
We'll get this resolved
berraquera,
before
la
it's done.
disciplina para
Mr. Baruch,
vivir
do you
del
recognize
arte.
the document that you're looking at that's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 116?
Yeah.
And what is it?
This is the floor plan of the roof, all the penthouses up on the roof at the Eastern Columbia.
And that's the building where you lived starting in March 2013, is that right?
I moved in the first week of March 2013. Yeah.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to move into evidence, Plaintiff's Exhibit 116, please.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, 116 in evidence, you can publish to the jury.
Esos son los planos del penthouse que
Is it?
Johnny
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I just wanna
estaba
be sure that-
Yeah, they can see it in the gallery.
financiando
With
para
the
su
door.
amigo,
That's great, thank you, Your Honor.
para que él fuera
Mr. Baruch, can you
artista full
describe for the
time.
jury what is depicted here in Exhibit 116?
Yeah, that so the right side of this graph is there's a pool there, there's another top of another apartment that actually starts on the floor below. It's a 2-story apartment. But there's a pool there, and there's a gym, workout room, and the left side is at the bottom, there's an X, and that's the elevator. And so you walk out of the elevator, you make a little left, and there's part of penthouse 5 right there, straight ahead. And then you keep walking straight, and then you make a left, a sharp left, and the actual penthouse 5 is straight ahead. And then you hang a right, and you start walking up that way. On your right is going to be penthouse 1. On your left is going to be penthouse 4. When you get to the end of that corridor, is the door for penthouse 3. And if you hang a right, oh, look, there it is. It came up on the screen. And if you hang a right and you go down to the end, is the door to penthouse 2. That's the apartment that I lived in.
And who did you understand owned these penthouses?
Oh, Johnny owned them all.
Which one did you live in?
Penthouse 2.
Was anyone else living in the penthouses at the time that you moved in March 2013?
No, I was the first one to move in. I moved in the first week of March, and then a couple of weeks later, 2-3 weeks later, then Johnny and Amber moved in. And then after that, the next one to move in is Rocky, Raquel Pennington, Amber's friend. And then at some point, her sister moved in, Whitney. And also at some point, Rocky's boyfriend moved in with her in penthouse 1.
So I believe you just testified that Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard moved in shortly after you moved in, is that right?
Yes.
And which penthouse did they move into?
Penthouse 3.
And then you testified, I believe, that someone named Rocky Pennington moved in.
Yes.
Who was Rocky Pennington?
Amber Heard's friend from Texas, and I think they made, I don't know, I'm not sure if they told me that they moved out there together or something like that, but yeah, her friend.
And later you said that her boyfriend moved in with her. What was his name?
Josh Drew.
And which unit did they live in?
Penthouse 1.
And I believe you also testified that Whitney moved in. Who was Whitney?
Whitney Heard. She's married, so she's got a different last name. I'm not sure what it is. But
La hermana
the sister,
de
Whitney.
And
Amber.
which of the units did Ms. Heard's sister live in?
4.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about your relationships with Ms. Heard, Ms. Pennington, Mr. Drew, and Ms. Heard, sister?
Oh, yeah, I was friends with all of them. I loved them all. They all treated me with respect. It was great. You know, I'm an old-time friend of Johnny's, living there, and we were looking out for each other. We became great friends. I fell in love with all of them.
When you moved in to Penthouse 2, you were working on an art show with Mr. Depp, right?
Yeah, that's the entire reason that I'm there, is to work and put together this art show.
Did you have a time frame that you expected to be able to put on that art show?
At first, when we first powwowed this idea, when, you know, we talked about, all right, what do we do? You know, what's this show gonna be? How many paintings is it gonna be? And we came up with a number. Okay, there's gonna be a certain body of work. I'm not a known person. I'm just some schnook painter. So if I was a famous painter, I could make 5 paintings, and the room will fill up. But so we decided, okay, like 25 pieces of work, large scale, and Johnny says, hey, how long do you think this will take? I said, I've never done it before. I don't know, maybe a few months.
And were you able to complete the paintings in a few months?
No, it's after. It took me in order to make 2 large scale paintings. It took me like almost 2 months, and I'm start freaking out, going, I've only got 2 paintings, and all right, I got to do 25. I said a few months, so I ended up going to Johnny's place and saying, hey, look, dude, this is gonna take a lot longer than a few months. I could only make 2 paintings.
And how did Mr. Depp react?
He looks at me and he starts laughing and he says, Ike, don't worry, I do not care. I just want you to paint however long it takes.
Ay, yo quiero un amigo así. Por favor, por
During the course
favor.
of time that you were living at the Eastern Columbia building, did Mr. Depp ever give you any money?
Yeah.
How much did he give you?
Over a period of 4 years of the patronship, I ballpark it, calculated probably around 100,000.
And how did you come up with that amount?
Well, from the first get-go, when I said, hey, look, I need dough, you know, to buy stuff and to, you know, to do this, I ended up getting an envelope the next day with $5,000 in it. And then I budgeted it and stretched it out, and, you know, and so every few months I get an envelope. It could have that I didn't know if it was going to be the same amount, but it ended up being the same amount, which was wow. So basically around $5,000 every few months. So in a year, it's 20 grand. But then also there was a period, maybe a year or two, might have been that it was 5 times I had to ask for dough, or it was 4. And then on top of it, so right there, that's could be 80 grand or 90 grand. And then on top of that, I ended up getting a herniated disc. He sent me to the doctors to get an MRI and see the doctor, get an MRI. And there was 10 weeks of therapy that he covered. So I throw that in there too. And I ended up coming up with the figure of 100 grand. Could be a little less, could be a little more.
Eso no le gustaba a Amber, estoy segura.
Oh, there's no, that's not even the thought of being paid back. This is something that he wanted to see happen. This is something he invested in. He knew he was going to spend money to make it happen for me to survive and paint and create this thing that he wanted to see because he liked the art. And so there was no payback, and the whole thing was about him selling the art so that way I keep all the money. He didn't expect anything. He was doing this as a friend, as he's done with many other friends.
Wow. Wow.
All right. I'll sustain the last sentence of his statement.
Claro.
We've done that, but that's fine.
Amber no le gustaba que Johnny fuera tan generoso con sus amigos.
You decided that you planned to
Estoy
pay Mr.
segura.
Depp back?
Oh yeah, that for me, when he's told me he had money situation going on, for me it was like this guy just changed. He's been making it possible for me to live and work and make product, and I'm by that expense, I'm part of the problem. It's like, how do I help him? How can I help him? I mean, he's sharing his sandwich with me, you know? It's like, how do I share that my sandwich with him? Give him that half to make something up. You don't not do anything, and said the only thing I got is paintings. So I stood up when he's telling me what he's telling me about his money situation, and for me, I said, hey, if these things ever sell, we got to split this 50-50, and I ain't taking no for an answer. Something I got to put something into this. So for me, I looked at it like he has to get something back.
Mr. Bruce, during your time living at the Eastern Columbia building, did you develop a relationship with the defendant in this case, Ms. Heard?
Yeah,
And did you get along with Ms. Heard?
I loved her. I fell in love with her just like Johnny fell in love with her. I fell in love with her. She's totally respectful, gracious to me, that she's got great teeth, that she treated me with complete respect. Anytime I walk into the humor-wise, total locker room humor, demented humor, totally laughed at, the jokes.
Demented humor?
Totally got along with her. Every time I walked into their place, Isaac, you want something to eat? Isaac, you want something to drink? Every time. There's only one time I remember that she didn't offer, because I walked in, she's in the kitchen at the counter, she's doing a beauty facial mask, and so she can't offer me. And I'm going, hey, is that something that can help me? And she looked at me and she goes, no. And I'm laughing, and then she laughed after because she didn't realize she was making a joke. So, yeah, I loved her.
Mr. Baruch, did Ms. Heard ever visit you in your penthouse?
Yeah.
Do you recall the first time that she visited you there?
Yes.
When was that?
The first time is that it's in March when they moved in, and they were there for a couple of days, and I didn't even know. Johnny had called me, says, "Hey, come over, meet my girl," and so I did, and then the next day they came over to my place for the first time to see how I had set up the art studio, lights, and just what's my painting set up and stuff, and to look at other paintings. And they walked in, and I remember the first thing she said was, "I hope we didn't keep you up last night because of all the yelling." And I looked at her and I says, "No, these walls are like 3 feet thick. I don't hear diddly squat."
Wow.
How did she seem when she said that to you?
Well, she's semi-joking and inquisitive, like they did, to find out.
In your 3.5 years living at the Eastern Columbia building, did you have opportunities to observe Mr. Depp's and Ms. Heard's relationship?
Yeah.
Can you describe what you observed about their relationship?
They were always loving with each other. They treated each other like gold, you know, it's kissing and you know, what can I get you type of thing, you know, just being kind with each other. Always loving, always a loving situation.
How often would you say you interacted with Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard?
If they were there, because they're traveling, they're working and doing stuff. If they were there, I saw them maybe 2-3 times a week. Could maybe there might be one time a week that I see them, that I go over to hang out or, you know, see them. Or they might come, or Johnny might come over to visit, or, you know, like that.
Since you've known them, did you ever see them get physically violent with each other?
Never.
Did you ever see them argue?
Yes,
How many times?
probably like twice.
Hola, Fortis. How are you? I'm back
First
watching this.
argument that I remember was walking in. It was a telephone argument. Johnny's at the kitchen table and he's
Good.
screaming about something.
Enjoying
And
the
on
show.
other line, because it's on speaker, and he's talking with the phone at the phone. The other person is Amber, and that she's in New York, and he's at the kitchen table, and they're arguing, and he's going, "Who is it? Who is it?" And she's saying, "Oh, baby, come on, please don't. What are you doing, baby? Why are you being like this, baby?" And this went on for a little while, and I'm listening, and then he hangs up. She calls back again, and it's the same thing. Who is it? What's going on? Who is it? And she's saying, "Oh, come on, baby, don't be. What are you doing, baby?"
¿Quién es? ¿Quién
And
es?
then hang up the phone again. The third time it happens, I'm saying there's no solution in this conversation. I grabbed the phone from him and I says, "Hey, Amber, this is Isaac. Listen, this conversation is now over." And I hung up the phone.
Ese es un buen amigo.
She didn't call back again, and he went to the couch and went to bed.
She did not like
You
that.
saw them argue twice. Was there another time that you saw them argue?
I ended up going over, and there's at the kitchen table is Johnny, is Amber, is Rocky, and Josh. And and I'm going, "What are you guys doing?" And they're hanging out, and they're trying to plot to figure out a way how to get rid of Whitney to not live there anymore. And I felt bad. I like Whitney. Says, you know, oh, well, you know.
Whitney es la hermana de Amber.
And you know, what are you plotting? You know, how do you figure out? Hey, lend your sister some dough and let her move out. But, you know, they're trying to figure something out, something differently or whatever. At one point, so there was a point, Johnny got completely, you know, flustered and frustrated, and he got up and he walks away. And as he's walking away, he says, "Figure it out." And that was it. That was the whole thing. I don't know if you want to call it, I don't think you might call that an argument, but.
Your Honor, I'm about to switch gears a little bit. It might be a
Okay.
good time for a mid-morning break.
Perfect, thank you.
Mid-morning
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
break.
Go ahead and have you take your morning recess for 15 minutes, okay? Just remember to not talk to anybody and do not do any outside research, okay? And we'll see you back here in 15 minutes.
En 15 minutes. Chicos, volvemos en 15 minutos aquí. Bueno, apenas aquí, bueno, como... Buenos días, chicos, ¿cómo están? Hi, Forest. Hola, ¿cómo están? Yo estoy bien aquí. Viendo, no me puedo aguantar. I could not resist. I was like, tengo que mirar esto en vivo. Está súper, súper. Es increíble, ¿no? No sabía que Johnny también era cantante. Qué locura. I did not he sing as well. Pero bueno, hasta el momento pues terminó ya el testimonio de su hermana mayor, que bueno, pues al parecer los gestos que hicieron los abogados y Johnny y todo, pues creo que no le fue mal. Y bueno, ahora estamos escuchando a uno de los mejores amigos de Johnny Depp, que es un artista y pues vivió con ellos en ese tiempo tumultuoso en el cual tenían todos estos problemillas. Pero bueno, ahorita regresaremos con eso. No sé hasta qué hora me quedaré, la verdad, hasta que me canse. Pero como siempre, aquí tenemos el update astrológico de hoy, chicos, porque pues claro, vamos a aprovechar estos 15 minuticos para hablar de la astrología de hoy, cómo están los astros hoy. Y bueno, voy a hacer un refresh para que estemos actualizados aquí. Y bueno, tenemos a la luna que todavía sigue transitando por el signo de Virgo y de hecho hoy está haciendo un trígono exacto con Urano, al menos hasta este momento está haciendo un trígono exacto con Urano. Entonces, brillantes, chicos, cualquier idea que tengamos hoy, cualquier clariaudiencia que escuchemos, bueno, aprovecharla porque es como que inspirada por el divino. Entonces, bueno, aprovechemos esta claridad que podemos tener, estas nuevas ideas que pueden surgir hoy, porque es como que van a ser muy, o sea, como sorpresivas, pero al mismo tiempo como que vamos a tener la oportunidad de organizarlas en nuestro día a día, como que, como les decía ayer, un plan de acción, un plan de, ok, ¿cómo voy a organizar mi día, mi semana, mi mes, mi año, mejor dicho, los siguientes 12 años si lo queremos hacer? Porque, wow, miren, tenemos aquí la conjunción exactica hoy de Júpiter y Neptuno en el signo de Piscis. Qué curioso estos planetas, cómo se mueven, porque ayer estaban como, se supone que ayer iban a estar exacticos, pero no, hoy es que están exactos, lo cual, bueno, no sé, creo que por eso está la buena vibra, hoy la buena vibra, porque de verdad que sí se siente muy high vibration. Entonces sí, puede sonar un poquito, pero creo que hoy es un muy buen día para que planeemos nuestros próximos 12 años, para que soñemos en grande, pero es que como que el universo nos está apoyando a que sí, a que soñemos en grande, pero al mismo tiempo de una forma muy arraigada que nos permite como que encontrar un paso a paso, un paso a paso. Entonces, sí, qué chévere, qué chévere. Siento yo que hoy es un día en el cual podemos meditar en cuáles son nuestras metas más elevadas y no solamente desde un lugar de materialidad, sino de riqueza interior, ¿cierto? Y siento yo que con Júpiter en el signo de Piscis, que bueno, pues es el planeta que rige la abundancia, pues bueno, es como que podemos pedir o podemos o como unirnos a la frecuencia de abundancia en todos los niveles, abundancia económica, abundancia de sabiduría, abundancia de perspectiva. Entonces, está linda. La verdad que la energía de hoy me gusta mucho. Obviamente tenemos todavía la cuadratura de Marte con los nodos lunares, lo cual es curioso porque, bueno, ayer cuando salí de mi oasis energético, que es como he venido llamando lo que es esta conjunción de Júpiter y Neptuno, como que, bueno, salí del oasis energético, de estar aquí hanging out en línea y todo, y bueno, hago lo mío, pero bueno, me entero ya de unas noticias así, ya un poco tristes, un poco haunting. Bueno, primero que tuvo un mass shooting aquí en la ciudad de Nueva York. O sea, en Brooklyn, como que bueno, todavía no tengo todos los detalles porque como que no, no quise como meterme por allá, pero pues la verdad fue algo como muy impactante. Aparte, bueno, también por ahí hay un video un poco haunting de algo que está sucediendo en China, porque bueno, otra vez están encerrando a personas, diría yo, ¿no? Esto de la cuarentena al parecer no va a terminar. no, ¿cierto? No, no ha terminado, no va a terminar y bueno, de cierta forma es como que vuelve el fantasma del pasado y definitivamente, como les contaba, Saturno tiene muchísimo que ver con el pasado, es como que Saturno está aquí para recordarnos una y otra vez que qué es lo que no tenemos, qué es lo que nos falta, qué es lo que no hemos superado. Y bueno, con los nodos lunares de encuadratura, que bueno, la cuadratura es dura, chicos. Yo diría que de todos los aspectos, la cuadratura es la que más te trae problemas en el sentido de que sí o sí los tienes que enfrentar, ¿cierto? Sí o sí te enfrentas a la oscuridad, a lo desconocido. Entonces es una energía pesada, lo cual me parece muy es como que todo estuviera sucediendo simultáneamente, chicos. O sea, no, es como igual, estamos a la par en lo que es bueno y malo, ¿cierto? Y es de cierta forma, siento yo que nosotros tenemos la oportunidad de escoger en este momento en qué nos queremos enfocar. Nos queremos enfocar en el pasado, nos queremos enfocar en esas ataduras que no logramos superar, en esa sensación de competición también, porque con Marte aquí en el mix, digamos que ya se está alejando un poco, pero sigue estando en Acuario, lo cual, y en los últimos grados, pues como que se intensifica un poco más. Entonces, bueno, nos queremos enfocar en el conflicto, nos queremos enfocar en nuestras restricciones, nos queremos enfocar en el pasado, queremos seguir repitiendo los mismos ciclos, tenemos la oportunidad en este momento de salirnos de alguna forma, no de una manera como, ok, esto nunca existió, no importa, sino siento yo que tenemos como una oportunidad de tener un puente energético en el cual logramos tener la perspectiva de que nuestros sueños se pueden hacer realidad. Y siento yo que, no sé, ahorita que estaba escuchando el caso de Johnny Depp y el testimonio, al menos lo que hemos escuchado de uno de sus mejores amigos y se siente así, ¿no? Es como que, bueno, al parecer pues son personas humildes, ¿cierto? No crecieron en cuna de oro, tuvieron que trabajar por lo suyo una y otra vez, pero mira, wow, uno se hizo famoso y fue tan famoso, lo suficientemente successful, que pudo ayudar a su amigo de una manera casi que mágica, ¿no? Entonces, es curioso porque sí siento que hoy la energía está un poco así y me gusta, me inspira un poco lo que escuché porque digo, wow, qué bonito que hayan personas así, ¿no? Yo sé, seguramente Johnny Depp no es perfecto, no estoy aquí tratando de idealizarlo, pero al menos la experiencia que ha tenido su amigo de él, pues al parecer es una muy buena experiencia, ¿cierto? Y es algo así, es como una mano amiga que te ayuda y como que más que ayudarte, te ofrece cumplir tus sueños. Y siento yo que la energía de hoy es precisamente algo así. Am, Claro está, depende en dónde nos caiga, chicos, si te cae, por ejemplo, en la casa, en las casas sociales, ¿cierto? En la casa 11, en la casa 7, en la casa 3, bueno, de pronto ahí hay una energía de amistad, de que un amigo te pueda ayudar o un grupo de personas, una pareja, pero en general podemos encontrar esta conjunción en alguna de en cualquier área de nuestra carta natal y allí es donde vamos a tener como como esa música así que es como celestial y te dice, mira, esta es la posibilidad que tienes para salirte de esa sensación de atadura, es como que ya estamos cansados de sentirnos atrapados. Pero lastimosamente, algunas personas no, algunos de nosotros estamos acostumbrados a vivir dentro de esa nostalgia, dentro de esa amargura, dentro de ese miedo, porque eso es lo que representa Saturno en la gran escala, ¿no? Representa el miedo, mientras que Júpiter representa la esperanza, representa el optimismo. Entonces sí veo aquí como un battle, ¿no? Una lucha psíquica, ¿cierto? Una lucha dentro de nosotros que es como que, bueno, algo muy chévere está pasando, y muy bonito que abre puertas, abre oportunidades, pero sí o sí tenemos que ser muy honestos y enfrentarnos a esas cosas que queremos cambiar y decidirnos cambiarlas, ¿cierto? No como que, oh, el destino es así, la vida es así, ya me tocó, no hay nada que hacer, ¿cierto? Es como que tenemos que, no tenemos, pero sí tenemos la posibilidad, se nos está ofreciendo una gran oportunidad para que escapemos de cierta forma, pero también que escapemos de una manera saludable, ¿cierto? Como que podemos hacerlo, no escapar de una manera no saludable, bueno, que cómo escapamos de una manera no saludable, bueno, con las drogas, con el alcohol, no sé, tantas, tantas maneras que podemos como aliviar nuestro dolor, pero solamente por un ratico, ¿cierto? Y eso es básicamente escapar de algo de una manera no saludable puede ser de cualquier forma, por ejemplo, el salir de viaje, o sea, como que noto, por ejemplo, muchas personas que viven viajando y uno creería, uy, qué chévere, pero siento que muchas de estas personas viven viajando porque están escapando de su realidad, ¿cierto? Entonces, como que de cierta forma siempre se quieren mantener en ese high vibe. O también podemos escapar a través de las parejas, ¿cierto? Es muy fácil enamorarnos y querer o pretender que, bueno, que estar en pareja ya es todo, ¿cierto? Es la solución a todo. Entonces, bueno, cada uno de nosotros está teniendo, de cierta forma, una revelación y si no la hemos tenido hasta el momento, pues ya se viene la luna llena en Libra este próximo sábado que es bastante reveladora, ¿cierto? Entonces, bueno, ahí definitivamente vamos a tener algo muy claro en cuanto a cómo hemos, de cierta forma, dado nuestro poder y de cierta forma buscar la aprobación del exterior. Siento yo que una linda manera de utilizar esta energía que nos ofrece el universo esta semana es conectar con nuestra esencia pura, es ser nosotros y luchar por eso, ¿no? Pero no luchar de una manera como, ay, voy a pelear por esto, sino comprometernos a seguir nuestras pasiones. Por ejemplo, como era aquí en el testimonio, lo que escuchamos, ¿no? O sea, como que desde muy jóvenes estas dos personas dijeron, bueno, voy a dedicarme a la actuación, al canto, al arte y no voy a dejar eso, ¿cierto? ¿Cuántos de nosotros somos artistas? Y aquí está Bob Ross. ¿Cuántos de nosotros somos artistas que no hemos sido capaces de ponernos ahí afuera y decir, esto es lo que yo soy, enfrentarnos a todo? Porque mira, es como, no sé, siento yo que con, con algunas lecciones, cuando lo arriesgas todo, y te comprometes con tu arte, lo puedes lograr. ¿Y por qué hablo del arte? Porque definitivamente Piscis y Neptuno, Júpiter es arte de todas las maneras, ¿cierto? Es un arte profundo, es un arte que es energía de cuando estás tan conectado con la fuente que las cosas fluyen y no hay quien te pueda parar, ¿cierto? Entonces, bueno, eso es muy bonito porque como les digo, yo como alguien que me encanta el arte, o sea, chicos, yo sueño todavía con ser cantante, quise ser actriz, ¿cierto? Como que de hecho por ahí tengo una miniserie en YouTube de la que fui parte, ¿no? Entonces, actriz, me encanta pintar, todo, o sea, como que, y por mucho tiempo me he sentido como un artista que no ha logrado salir, ¿cierto? Entonces, definitivamente sí admiro mucho a esta calidad de muchas personas que lo logran, ¿cierto? Que lo logran, porque no son todos, no es fácil ser artista, la verdad, no es fácil, pero es un camino que siento yo que puede traer mucha paz interna y al fin y al cabo, pues esto es lo que quiere esta linda conjunción aquí a 24 grados. Y es curioso porque el grado 24 es como double Pisces, ¿no? O sea, realmente esto es high spiritual knowledge, high spiritual connection. Y bueno, ahí tenemos a Venus también, o sea, de verdad que no puedo negar que lo que está sucediendo en Piscis, como les digo, es un oasis de buena energía, es como que una sensación de, wow, aquí puedo ser yo, aquí puedo diluirme con el mundo y no sé, como que dejar que las cosas sucedan, ¿cierto? Pero bueno, vivimos en esta tierra, ¿cierto? Al fin y al cabo vivimos en esta tierra que es bastante compleja, no tenemos ese oasis, pero también tenemos algunas dificultades kármicas sobre todo. Entonces, siento yo que esta energía también tiene mucho que ver con nuestras virtudes. Hemos sido virtuosos lo suficiente, hemos cultivado nuestras virtudes de generosidad, honestidad. Tengo que repasar mis virtudes porque, bueno, empatía, ¿cierto? Son varias. ¿Dónde está mi? Ah, yo tenía aquí está mi lista de virtudes. Y dice generosidad, moralidad, renunciación, I don't know, pero bueno, sabiduría, esfuerzo, tolerancia, verdad, determinación fuerte, amor, no, selfless love, es como amor, selfless love. Mm, no sé, porque no sé, siento yo que debemos, si no nos amamos a nosotros mismos, pues es como muy difícil amar a los demás, pero bueno, es una de las virtudes, al menos de acuerdo a las técnicas de Vipassana, ¿cierto? Si es que ustedes conocen de Vipassana, que bueno, es una escuela de meditación, ¿cierto? Y al final tenemos la de ecuanimidad, ¿cierto? Pero diría yo que de esta, sobre todo, me gusta mucho lo que es la generosidad, la moralidad, la sabiduría, el esfuerzo, la tolerancia, la verdad, la determinación fuerte, súper importante, y la ecuanimidad, ¿cierto? Diría yo que de estas 10 virtudes que se nos ofrecen, bueno, pues esas son las que más me gustan. Pero bueno, básicamente tiene mucho que ver si hemos cultivado esas virtudes dentro de nosotros porque si lo hemos hecho, vamos a cosechar, eso es precisamente lo que vamos a cosechar en estos próximos 12 años, ¿cierto? Es como que el universo nos va a devolver mucha de esa energía y vamos a ser reconocidos y sobre todo si somos personas que estamos en todo lo que tenga que ver con el arte, la espiritualidad, bueno, ahí es donde está la magia sucediendo, chicos, entonces, no sé, siento yo que para los artistas esta es una buenísima noticia y de pronto nos hemos sentido un poquito burden, ¿cierto? Nos hemos sentido atrapados, amarrados, juzgados, como que no tenemos el apoyo suficiente, el reconocimiento suficiente por nuestro arte. De hecho, recuerdo algo que me molestó bastante cuando sucedió todo esto de la pandemia y bueno, y es que recuerdo que, bueno, dijeron, ay, que, bueno, solamente los trabajadores esenciales, que yo no sé qué. Y me molestó mucho que según estas, ¿cierto? Según estas reglas y esto, los artistas no éramos trabajadores esenciales, lo cual me pareció tan irónico porque mientras estuvimos en encierro, ¿cierto? Esos meses que tuvimos que estar dentro de nuestra casa, ¿qué es lo que estábamos haciendo, chicos? ¿Qué es lo que estábamos haciendo? Al menos yo estaba escuchando música, viendo películas, pintando, ¿cierto? Estaba aprendiendo. Hay tantas cosas que nos trae el arte que realmente hacen que esta vida valga la pena ser vivida, chicos. Al menos desde mi experiencia, yo sé que hay personas que son de pronto más lógicas, más lineales, ¿cierto? Cada uno de nosotros tenemos nuestras preferencias, pero si tú eres un artista, es como que wow, el universo nos está diciendo, somos importantes, o sea, somos importantes y este es nuestro momento. Hemos cultivado nuestras virtudes, hemos cultivado nuestra pasión, nuestro arte, nuestro craft, como se le llama, nuestro trabajo, nuestras habilidades, lo suficiente para estar listos, chicos, para brillar, porque realmente sí siento que se nos viene una buena época para brillar en el arte. Y bueno, ya comenzó de nuevo aquí el caso. Entonces, bueno, voy a compartir la pantalla del caso y bueno, ustedes me dejan saber, chicos, cómo la están pasando hoy, si están disfrutando de esta transmisión y bueno, que me digan qué equipos son, equipo Johnny o equipo Amber o equipo no me importa nada. Vamos a ver, vamos a continuar aquí, chicos. Ay,
Who wants to know if I want to go out and eat. I said I just ate, but I'm 5 minutes away from the Eastern Columbia building home, and go across the street, get something to eat, and bring it up for takeout, and we'll go upstairs to my joint and we'll eat. And yeah,
Did you meet your friend back at the Eastern Columbia building?
yeah,
Around what time was that?
9:30.
What happened after you met your friend?
We went upstairs.
Can we pull up plaintiff's exhibit 116 again, please? Your Honor, given that this has already been admitted, I'd ask that it be published.
All right, that's fine. You can publish it. You just can't see it. It's not on this. Okay, you still have it.
Mr. Birch, is it on the screen in front of you?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Mr. Birch, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about what happened after you went upstairs that evening. And it may be helpful for you. There are controls on that screen that you can use to sort of mark the exhibit to show the jury the spots that you're talking about and identifying.
So if you just touch it, it'll make a mark. So you don't have to touch the top. That's fine.
Do I touch
No.
something on menu here?
Nope, you don't. Nope, just wait and you can
Oh.
touch it whenever she needs you to mark it.
Just wherever I touch it, it's going to make a mark.
It will.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Birch, when you got upstairs that evening with your friend around 9:30,
Yeah.
What did you see?
We got out of the elevator and, just like in the graph, you make a left and then you turn the corner. When we walked out, I noticed on the floor, there's shards of glass, there's pieces of glass. And so, I was just looking, going, oh, something busted. Could be one of the sconces or something like that. And kept walking.
Can you mark on the exhibit where you saw the broken glass that evening?
Yeah.
tuve que
there.
tomar un
Right
break,
way, you could go
pero ya estoy
left,
de vuelta.
Or you could go right, and if you wanted to go to the pool area, there's an exit that way. So you could either go right or you go left. You go left, you're in the apartment, going in the hallway through the apartment, or you go right there in that spot.
And did you continue on to your penthouse after you saw the broken glass?
Oh, yeah, so we walk around, and then we make the turn, we hang the right past the penthouse 5, and we stop right in front of, right here.
Why did you stop right there?
Oh, stopped in front of here, penthouse 1, which is it's more right there, because there's this puddle of wine, huge puddle of wine on the floor that's in front of the door, and there's the splashed wine that's dripping down the wall. And so we stopped, and I'm looking at it and going, look at this. Someone must have got hammered. These guys probably had a party. And at that point, right then, as soon as I said that, the door opens up, and it's Josh Drew, who pokes his head out the door, only enough for his head to come out. And he's pretty bug-eyed and looks distraught. And I look at him and I go, what's up with the spilled wine? and I figuring I'd get an explanation or whatever. And he says, he looked at me and just said, rough day, had a rough day. And at that point, I got concerned and said to him, because I'm friends with him, you know, I got concerned. I said, hey, you okay? You want me to help you with something? Do you need help? He said, no, it's okay. We got it. And I said, okay. And me and my buddy took off and went into my place.
And what did you do after that?
My buddy ate. I believe he had pizza from across the street, and we talked. We yapped for a while, and you know, could be I could yap, so it could, you know, it could take. We were there probably an hour and change or something like that, and then he's, you know, we're done. So I walked him out and walked down. I went to the elevator, walked out, went to the elevator. We went downstairs. I walked him out the door, finished the conversation that we were having. And I said, all right, see ya. And then I went back in. I went upstairs and I went to bed.
Around what time was that you went back into the Eastern Columbia building?
You know something, is if we got there at like around 9:30 and we're talking, I don't know, an hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know, somewhere around 11 o'clock, I would think.
We can go ahead and take Exhibit 116 down. Mr. Baruch, can you describe for the jury the events of the next day, May 22nd, 2016?
Yes. It's my birthday. May 22nd is my birthday. Wake up. I end up texting Johnny and saying, hey, I'm going to be in town, because he's not staying at the Eastern Columbia building. He's staying in a house in town. Okay. And so I texted him. It's my birthday. I said, listen, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to come by and to have a birthday drink. Okay. I didn't hear from him, you know, I didn't get an answer back, but I said, that's what I'm doing. If that happens, that happens. But, so it was around noon time, so I left. I walked out of my apartment, and I go through the hallway, as you see the graph. I go through the hallway, and I turn the corner from Penthouse Street, and as I'm walking down, well, who do I see? I see a group of people. It's a guy in black clothes, a black shirt, black pants, Amber Heard, and I see Josh Drew, who's leaning up against the door, and the door is open. This door is open. Something's going on, and as I'm walking up, I'm saying, hey, what's up? What are you guys doing? And then Amber turns to me as I'm walking up. Amber turns to me and she says, Johnny came by last night. He got violent. So I'm changing the locks on 1, 3, and 5. And I'm looking at her and she goes, oh, and don't worry about 2. You're okay. And at this point, I'm now walking past. So now we're all in front of the open door of the apartment. And I see there's 2 guys, 2 locksmiths working on the door. So now I'm standing on one side, and you have Josh Drew on one side of the door. You got the 2 locksmiths with the door open, working on it. The sun's coming through the door, sunlight from windows. And then Amber is in front of me, and there's the security guy. And that we're 2 feet away from each other, talking. And she introduces me as she's finishing saying, oh, don't worry about your apartment. She says, oh, and this is a security guard that I got who's going to be hanging around. And I got introduced. She introduced me to him, and I shook his hand. He gave me a card, which I lost. And I'm kind of taking this in and going, wait. what happened? What's going on? And at that point, Josh Drew looks at me and gives me a high sign, like, hey, follow me. I'll tell you in private. And
Mr. Rich, when you were speaking with Ms. Heard, how close were you standing to her?
like I said, I'm 2 feet, a foot and a half, 2 feet away. We're all 2 feet.
And how was the lighting in that area?
There's lights in the hallway, but we're standing in an open doorway that the wall is all windows. Sunlight's coming through, and you could operate in this light. There's that much light.
Did you notice any marks on her face when you were speaking with her?
No,
Did
Nope.
you see any bruises?
no,
Nope.
Did you see any redness?
no,
Did you notice any swelling?
no,
Did it look like Ms. Heard was wearing any makeup?
no.
Had you seen her wearing makeup before?
Yeah.
And you had seen her not wearing makeup before?
Yeah, I seen, like I said, with face mask, doing a face mask, no makeup, hanging around, waking up in the morning, no with makeup, glammed out to go out. And it's 3.5 years of seeing her in different forms.
Wow.
Did you speak with Mr. Drew about anything at that point?
Well, yeah, after I said that, hey, what's going on? And he gave me the high sign to like, hey, follow him. We went into my apartment and had a conversation.
And what happened after you had that conversation with Mr. Drew?
We left the apartment and we go walking back towards penthouse 1. And as I'm walking back, I say to Amber, as I'm walking up, he hit you? And she goes, yeah, he threw a phone at me and hit me. And I'm looking, because I had just seen her 2 feet away, and I'm going, where? And she puts her head out. She puts her face out like that for me to look at her, the right side of her face. And I'm looking, but at that point also, I'm looking, and I turn around, get on the other side. We're in the doorway. So I'm on this side, with the light shining this way from the doorway with the lights above and the sunshine. And she's got her face out like this, looking, to show me. And I'm looking, and I inspect her face. I'm looking at her forehead. I'm looking at the side of her eye. I'm looking at her cheek. I'm looking at her chin. I'm looking at the other side of the face. I'm looking at the whole thing. And I don't see anything. I don't see anything I don't see a cut, a bruise, swelling, redness. It's just Amber's face that she's going like this and showing me. So I'm not seeing anything. I back up and I'm making a joke. I make a joke going, well, I don't see anything, but maybe all the beauty from one side of your face to the other side of the face is outshining everything, so I can't see anything. And she's laughed and she, smiled. And I just looked at everybody and said, hey, it sounds nuts. And I went and I said, I gotta go. And I gave her a hug and kissed her on that side of the face. Kissed her on that side of the face. And then I left.
Wow.
What was her reaction when you kissed her on that side of the face?
Nothing.
Did she flinch?
No.
Did you see Ms. Heard again the next day?
Yeah.
When was that?
So that's Monday. That was May 22nd, my birthday. So then the
Él
next
se
day
acuerda, si fue su
is,
cumpleaños, se acuerda.
Monday, the 23rd, I had woken up with a chest cold, and I heard a knock on the door, and it's Amber. So I opened up the door.
Around what time was that?
That's, I want to say, maybe around noontime, maybe a little bit before. Maybe it could have been a little bit, I think around noontime again. And I went downstairs and I opened up the door.
And when you opened the door, did you have a good view of Ms. Heard?
Absolutely, yeah.
How was the lighting?
Lighting's fine. Lighting from outside, and there's light from
Qué
my
pena,
place.
pero
Yeah,
se
so
nota si alguien
the
tiene
lighting was great.
la cara hinchada, morada,
Did you see
negra,
any
o sea,
marks on Ms. Heard's face at that time?
No, same thing like the day before. There's no redness. There's no swelling. There's no bruises. There's no cuts. There's no nothing. Just amber, looking like amber.
Did you notice if she was wearing any makeup at that point?
She didn't look like she was wearing makeup then either.
What did Ms. Heard say to you during that encounter?
She was knocking on my door to see if I would take the house key to let the cleaning lady in, because she had to go somewhere. And I woke up that day and I had some kind of chest cold thing. I was upstairs laying down, so I looked at her and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm feeling sick. I'm going to be upstairs laying down this entire time for the day or whatever." And that so I can't do it. And then she stood there and is like, "Well, I got to figure out what to do." Like maybe if she was only dependent upon me to give the housekeeper the key. It's the same. The housekeeper cleans both of our places. And so I said, "Hey, listen, why don't you go ahead and take the key and put it in an envelope and bring it downstairs to the concierge, and that's where the key will be, and tell Hilda, who is the housekeeper, that that's where the key is. And that's it. And you're set." And she was like, "Yeah, okay, I guess I could do that." And I'm 3 feet away from her, 2.5, 3 feet away from her talking with her.
And how long did that conversation last?
3 minutes?
Did you see Ms. Heard again the next day?
Yes, I did.
Where did you see her?
All right. I go down. I'm leaving my apartment on Tuesday to go downstairs to the cafe to go get something hot. I still haven't shopped or did anything for what's a chest cold. And so I wanted something hot to drink. I go downstairs, and as I'm locking my door, that all of a sudden a group of women come up to penthouse 3. Because in the corridor on the graph, you can see we share the same corridor. So I'm locking my door, and this group of women show up.
Did you recognize who the women were?
3 of them, yeah.
Who were they?
It was, something, I'm unsure if it was 4 or 5 women, but it's Amber, it's her sister Whitney, and it's Melanie Gracias, who's a makeup artist for Johnny and Amber.
Amber.
And then there's 2 other women I didn't recognize, but I'm not sure.
Did you interact with the women at all?
Well, after closing the door, Whitney, who calls me her spirit animal, came running down the hallway, going, "Isaac, spirit animal," and I'm going, "Hey, listen, I'm not feeling so hot. I'm not feeling so good," and I get duck under her arms, stop. And I love you, but stop. And I duck under her arms, and I go past, and I'm passing the other ladies, Amber and her, who she's with, and I'm looking at them, and they're laughing at this whole scene, and then that was it. And then I went past, and went down and got some hot tea.
Did you see Ms. Heard's face during that encounter?
It was a quick glance, but nothing's just shot out for me to notice anything.
Did you see Ms. Heard again the day after that?
Well, I saw her again that day.
Oh, can you describe that, please?
Yeah, that on the way back from me being outside at the cafe, having a tea, I come walking back in, and now all her and the women that she was with are coming back out, and we're in the lobby. And so, and the doors of the lobby, it's all windows. There's great light shining through the entire lobby. And the women there's a table in the middle of the lobby, and her friends, or I don't know if they're friends or not, I know 3, one's a sister, the other one's a friend. They're walking on one side of the table, and then she's on the other side of the table where I'm walking, and now we're walking past each other, and she's, of course, we're gonna acknowledge each other and looking at each other. And now she's the sun shining right in our face. It's to my back because I'm walking in. And so that's like this and saying, all right, hey, all right, enjoy yourself, have a good time or whatever you're doing, and go by. And I went up. And that was it. That was the second time that I saw her. And that's on Tuesday.
And did you get a good look at her face during
Oh.
that second encounter?
Absolutely. The sun shining right on her face.
Did you notice anything unusual about her face?
Nothing, no cuts, no bruises, no swelling, no redness, no, it's Amber. It's Amber's face.
And then did you see Ms. Heard again the day after that?
Yes, I did.
And that's Wednesday, May 25th?
That's right.
Where did you see her?
At that point, it's like, okay, I got to shop for something because otherwise I'm not going to get rid of this chest cold. I'm going to go to the store, and on the way back, in between the garage and the building, there's this room with like vestibule, that's you have to walk through. And I'm coming in to go into the building, and Amber and Whitney, her sister, are coming out of the building to go into the garage. And we met there.
How long did you speak with them, if at all?
Yeah, we spoke. That's so we're facing each other. Amber and Whitney are across from me. We're 2.5 feet, 2 feet away from each other, talking. Of course, and so we stop, of course, to say, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Where you going? Where you going? Where you coming from? I have bags of food in my hand, of stuff that I went and I bought. And so I said, hey, I'm coming from shopping. Finally bought myself some stuff to get rid of this chest cold thing. And they go, and they're going to the CVS. And they look at me and so with yapping, everyone's smiling and stuff. And she says, you sure we can't get you anything? How about we get you some aspirin or some, some cold stuff? I said, no, I think I got everything. And and they said, you sure? And I said, yeah, I got it. Don't sweat it. And a kiss or whatever. I got my hand. I can't hug or whatever. So, and then I was said to see you, and I went up, and they went through the garage. That was it that day.
Did you have a good look at her face during that conversation?
Yes, this room. Yes, yeah, this room. It's completely lit. That it's a spot, and there's a camera taking. Cameras always on, a security camera, and always, and so it's got good lighting and stuff. Because this is a spot where if you use your fob key to go into the building, well, the door takes a long time to, it's one of those things with the pressure thing that the door just doesn't close shut. It takes a while for it to close. Someone could be in the garage who's not supposed to be in the garage, run and hold the door open. And then they get into the apartment building, and then who knows, maybe somebody gets ripped off. But so it's well lit for security reasons, and that there's a camera there that's taking pictures, doing what the camera does.
Was Ms. Heard wearing makeup during that discussion?
Neither of them looked like they were wearing makeup at all. Whitney had this hat on that it was a fun hat or whatever, and that no makeup. I don't even know Whitney to be a makeup person, and that Amber, no, she looked like she was, just natural Amber. It's all, just as always, no makeup.
¿Qué dicen, chicos? ¿Se nota
On Miss Heard's face?
cuando a alguien le han pegado un puño en la cara o más?
No swelling. No, there's no nothing. There's no swelling, no bruising, no redness, no cuts, no, I don't even, nothing.
Okay.
Turning back to May 21st for a second, when you first heard that Ms. Heard told you Mr. Depp had hit her, do you recall that?
Say that again?
When Ms. Heard told you that Mr. Depp had hit her on May 22nd,
Yeah, my birthday.
how did you feel hearing her say that?
All right. What's the relevance to how he,
I mean, it's a present sense impression of how he perceived that in that moment.
I'll sustain the objection.
Mr. Birch, did you see Ms. Heard at all the rest of that week of May 23rd?
No.
Did you learn at some point in time that Ms. Heard had filed for divorce from Mr. Depp?
Say that again?
Did you learn at some point in time that Ms. Heard had filed for divorce from Mr. Depp?
Yeah.
How did you learn that?
I learned it from the internet after the weekend, around at probably Monday, either Sunday or Monday. I'm on the internet and I end up seeing a picture of, it was the Friday of that week, the past week. And there's a picture of Amber wearing a black morning dress and with this brown mark on her cheek. And that she's been to a divorce, she went to go file for divorce. That's how I found out.
Were you surprised when you saw that?
Surprise is not the word. It's like, what the hell is this? What's going on?
At any point when you had seen her during that prior week, had she told you that she intended to file for divorce?
I'll allow it. Go ahead. You can answer the question, sir.
What's the question again?
At any point when you had seen her during that week, had Ms. Heard told you that she intended to file for divorce?
No. She never once. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday or Friday, not even see it. No, there's no, I'm clueless.
Y es curioso porque él dijo que Johnny ni siquiera estaba hospedándose en ese lugar
When you saw
en
those
ese
pictures,
tiempo.
and read the articles and learned that she was filing for divorce.
All right.
I'm sorry, objection, relevance to what he thought.
It builds on all of the testimony he's given previously, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
When did you see Ms. Heard next after that?
She knocks on my door June 3rd, Friday, a Friday night, June 3rd. She knocks on my door around 11 o'clock. Is the next time that I see her.
And what happened when she knocked on your door on June 3rd?
I opened the door. I opened up the door, and naturally, something I'll say is, "Hey, how you doing?" To say hello. So I open up the door and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And she looks at me and she says, "Not feeling so hot that I made some food. Would you like to come over and eat with me?" And at that point, after everything I've seen, I looked at her. I said, "Listen, me and you, we're not going to talk anymore. After everything that I've just seen all week long, from the past week and change, listen, I'm confused, I'm angry, and I'm frustrated by everything that I've seen. And that I think the best thing is for me and you that we don't talk anymore."
Wow.
Did she say anything in response?
Yes, in response to that, she looks at me and she says, "I told Johnny I don't want anything. The lawyers are making me do all of this." And that's what she said.
Did you respond to Ms. Heard?
No, what I was thinking was that to me, when after saying that, after she said that to me, I'm thinking to myself, gay cock'em yum, hey, how, you know,
All right, I'll sustain that objection. Next question.
Did you see any injuries on Ms. Heard's face on June 3rd when you spoke with her?
no.
Did you ever speak with Ms. Heard again after that?
Well, she said to me, after that, the lawyers are making me do all of this. Then I was just looking at her, and then she ended what she was saying by saying, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. And I closed the door and would never talk to her ever again.
Did you
Wow.
have any interactions with the staff at the Eastern Columbia building about Ms. Heard's allegations against Mr. Depp?
Okay.
Ok, bueno. Ah, qué curioso, chicos. Y ahora que lo pienso, bueno, pues tenemos activación. Estamos entrando ya a lo que es el reino de los eclipses, la zona de eclipses. Y me puse a pensar que, bueno, estos, ¿cómo diría yo? Cuando surge miedo dentro de nosotros, ¿cierto? Y sobre todo las noticias, es algo interesante que se presta mucho para inundarnos de miedo, para influenciarnos con el miedo. Y eso es algo que siento que va a estar, va a ser una distracción, por decirlo así, de nuestro oasis energético. Porque bueno, lastimosamente estas energías de los eclipses no son las mejores, o sea, se prestan para que se influya y se inyecte una energía bien colectiva y
Mr.
usualmente
Baruch,
no
did you
es
have
para
any
lo mejor.
interactions with the staff at the Eastern Columbia building about Ms. Heard's allegations against Mr. Depp?
Yes.
And at some point, did you see a security video taken in the Eastern Columbia building?
Yes.
When was that?
Sometime in June, maybe 2 weeks in or something like that. It's 2-3 weeks in.
Can you describe what you saw in that video?
Yes, I can. It was a video of Amber and Whitney waiting at the elevator, a mezzanine level, coming from the garage, obviously, and waiting for the elevator. And Whitney does this to Amber. Pow! And hits her, like hitting her in the face, going pow! And then they start laughing.
Did Ms.
Okay.
Heard react at all in that video to the fake punch that you observed Whitney throw?
Yeah, she's laughing. After doing it, they both, laughing at with each other.
Mr. Baruch, do you know who Elon Musk is? Have you ever seen Mr.
Ooh.
Musk in person?
Yeah.
Where did you see him in person?
First time was I'm getting into the elevator on the rooftop, penthouse level. I'm going into the elevator and he's coming out of the elevator.
Oh,
And when did that take place?
This is after May. This is sometimes June, it could be July, but after May.
In that same year, 2016? And when was the second time that you saw Mr. Musk?
One morning waking up and going and opening up the shades to the bedroom, and it's on the second floor, and it overlooks the balconies, our adjoining balconies, because my balcony joins with John and Amber's balcony. And that opening up the shades, I see Elon Musk going through the balcony door on their side to then walk down a common corridor to that then at the end leads to a door that then you walk out to the rest of the rooftop. And you go to the pool, you go to the gym and stuff. So I'm looking out, and the view out the window is of both of our balconies. So that's I saw him.
Elon
When was
Musk.
that?
Oh, sometimes it's either June, July, but it's after May.
Mr. Bruce, how long have you known Mr. Depp?
Met him, I believe, in 1980, and what's 42 years?
Wow.
Well, it's going to be 42 years.
Have you ever seen Mr. Depp be violent when angry with Ms. Heard?
Objection leading.
¿Por qué objection?
I'm allowed to answer?
Yes, yes.
What's the question again?
Have you ever seen Mr. Depp be violent when angry with Ms. Heard?
No. Well, from what I said from before, there was an argument that I walked in, so there's that, but have I ever seen him be violent to her with physicality? No,
Did you ever
Never.
see him hit her?
never.
La cara del abogado de Johnny, sí,
Living at the
it's too
Eastern
much.
Columbia building next to Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, did you ever observe any injuries or marks on Ms. Heard?
Objection leading, Your Honor.
All right, I'll sustain as to leading.
Did you ever notice anything unusual about Ms. Heard when you were living at the Eastern Columbia building with her?
Objection leading, Your Honor.
I'll allow it.
I can answer?
Yes, sir.
What's the question again?
Did you ever notice anything unusual about Ms. Heard during the time that you were living next door to her at the Eastern Columbia building?
Besides having great teeth? No.
Mr. Baruch, are you appreciative of everything that Mr. Depp has done for you?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading and relevant.
All right, I'll sustain as to leading. All right.
Mr. Baruch, how do you feel about what Mr. Depp has done for you?
Objection. Well, you know what? No, I'll go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I think that's withdrawn. Go ahead. Let me answer the question.
Oh my God. No saben ni que están
Could just answer the question,
objecting
sir.
to.
And the question is,
How do you feel about everything that Mr. Depp has done for you?
oh, come on, it's unreal. Yeah, it's, you think too much about it, you're gonna cry. That I appreciate everything
I'm gonna
he's
cry.
done for me. It's like stuff you can't pay back.
Would you lie for him under oath?
Oh, no.
Wow, esa es un low blow.
Next question.
¿Qué pregunta tan
Will
baja,
you give
dude?
truthful testimony today, sir?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading.
It's still leading. I'll sustain the objection.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Ok.
Cross-examination.
Cross-examination. Y me equivoqué, ¿no? Quien trajo este testigo fue la gente de Johnny.
Now, you know that Ms. Heard was.
Excuse me. I
I'm
didn't
sorry?
hear the beginning of what you started saying.
I said, let's start with the makeup.
Okay.
Okay. You're aware that Ms. Heard has both modeled and been an actor and had been for many years before you met her, correct?
I knew she acted. I didn't know she was a model.
Were you aware that she had a commercial
Nadie la conoce.
agreement with L'Oreal, for example?
When, now or back then?
What's your knowledge?
I don't know any of that.
Okay. Have you ever been with Ms. Heard when she has put makeup on?
I've been in the room, yeah, when makeup was getting put on her, yeah.
When makeup was being put on her, was this for some acting role or something like that?
It was an event that they were going to.
Mhm. So that was somebody else applying makeup to Ms.
Yeah.
Heard, who was going to have some gala event that she was going to.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been with Ms. Heard in her bathroom or anything when she's applying her makeup in the morning?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with Amica cream?
No.
Amica?
Amica?
Yes.
No.
Do you know what type of foundation Ms. Heard uses?
¿Quién va a saber eso,
Do you know
dude?
what type of concealer Ms. Heard uses?
Oh my God. No, pues, tiene que ser el mejor
Do you know
concealer.
what type of tint Ms. Heard uses?
¿Qué son estas
I have
preguntas,
no
güey?
clue.
Do you know what types of powders Ms. Heard uses?
No.
So when you're saying that you didn't notice any makeup, would it be fair to say that you yourself are not familiar with what type of makeup Amber Heard uses on a daily basis?
I don't know what she uses on a daily basis.
That's my point. Now, the first time that you saw her, which was May 22nd,
Yeah.
Ms. Heard was there. Were you aware she was on her way to somebody else's birthday party? Not yours, but somebody else's that day?
No,
Okay. Can you tell me what her hairstyle was that day?
it's just down.
Down as in,
Just regular. How she has it up now. She's got some kind of hairstyle, but no, she was no hair down, regular, no makeup, just hanging.
well, when you say no makeup, you don't know she was not wearing makeup, correct?
For a fact,
Correct.
no.
And you don't know whether she had applied Amica cream, correct?
I didn't even know what Amica cream is.
And you don't know whether she had applied concealer or foundation or powder or tint, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, if she's going out to a party,
Yeah.
do you think she would want to have her bruise exposed?
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
Calls for speculation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
Next question.
So, do you recall what Ms. Heard was wearing that day?
You know something? I could have sworn she had on a schmata dress, hippie dress at that particular time, but I could be confusing it with June 3rd. She's got this Victorian type of long hippie dress that has embroidery, and she definitely was wearing that night.
All right, but let's go back to May 22nd. Do you
Yeah.
recall what she was wearing?
I could have swore she was wearing another schmata dress that I've seen her hanging around the apartment with.
And do you recall what color?
No,
Okay. Do you recall what jewelry Ms.
No.
Heard was wearing that day? No. Okay. Now, you indicated that there was a security guard there, and there
Yes.
was Josh Drew,
Yeah.
correct? And was there anyone else there?
yeah, the two locksmiths.
Okay.
And also in the apartment, for a fleeting second, person went walking by and who seemed to me looked like it was Raquel Pennington, but it could have been another friend that was supposedly staying with them.
Okay, so you saw somebody come by. So how many?
No, go through the living room and then they're out of the picture because they went upstairs. So that's somebody that else was in that room but walking by.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you talked to Josh. What did Josh tell you? Josh
When?
Drew, he took you to the side. What did he tell you?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection to hearsay.
All right. Before you spoke with Josh Drew in the other room, what, if anything, had been said about what Mr. Depp did the night before?
Objection to the extent it calls for hearsay, Your Honor.
Hearsay.
Johnny ni siquiera se estaba quedando en esa residencia.
I'm
I
asking
don't
what,
get
if
it.
anything.
That was still solicit hearsay.
Well, but he already testified about what Amber said. I'll go back to that.
Okay.
So what exactly did Amber Heard tell you happened the night before?
As I was walking up the first time, she turned to me and said, Johnny came by last night and got violent. So I'm changing the locks on penthouse 1, 3, and 5. Don't worry about your place.
Okay. Did you ask her for any more specifics on what she
About
meant by
changing
getting
locks?
violent?
Huh?
Did you ask her for any specifics about what she meant by he came by and got violent?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to jump you to the next day for a few, and then I'm going to come back. But let's go to the next day. So the next day, you testified that you saw her twice, correct?
From Sunday? No.
No, it was
I
the
saw
Monday, yeah.
once in the morning, I want to
That's when
say
she came
around
by
12.
to ask if you could have the key or that you could leave the key for the house.
Right, for Hilda.
And you weren't feeling well, right?
That's right.
Okay, so you wouldn't have been standing very close to Amber, right? Because you were sick?
Well, I opened up the door and I'm holding the door. We're like 3 feet away from each other. Yeah.
Okay, and you told her you were sick, right?
Yeah.
Son seis,
Do you know
chicos,
where she was
6
going
feet
out
away.
someplace, correct?
She was
Ah, no, esto era
going somewhere. She
pre-COVID.
wasn't going to be there.
All right, do you know whether she had applied any Amica cream that morning to her face?
I'm like a cream.
No,
Do you know whether she had applied any concealer to her face that morning?
no,
Do you know whether she had applied any foundation that morning?
no,
Do you know whether she had applied any tint that morning?
no,
Do you know whether she had applied any powder that morning?
no.
Now, the next
I
day.
can tell you, she looked like she wasn't wearing any makeup.
Right, and would you agree that people who are models and actors can be pretty darn good with putting makeup on so that you can't tell they're wearing makeup?
Objection, Your Honor.
No,
Foundation,
can
calls
tell.
for speculation.
can always tell.
I think that's
Siempre
a
te
fair
puedes dar
question to
cuenta.
ask you.
I'll sustain as a speculation. Next question.
Do you have any knowledge of the skills of Amber Heard with respect to putting on makeup?
Well, it can't be that good because it's a makeup artist who came over to do makeup, but I don't really know.
And that makeup artist that comes over does it when she's going to be on some show or in some big public event or gala, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makeup person, and you're talking about Melanie Iglesias, right? That
right, yeah,
makeup-
yeah, exactly.
Okay, and that
exactly.
makeup person doesn't put Amber's makeup on every day for her, does she?
I wouldn't know.
How many times did you see Melanie Iglesias put makeup on Amber?
One time.
Okay,
It's just one time.
okay. So she wasn't living at Amber's house, right?
No, no, no. I hung out with her and her husband and Johnny and Amber and.
Me hizo dar ganas de
over there
ponerme makeup,
one
that's for
time
sure.
Eating, and then another time it was when I met her that seeing her do makeup for these guys.
Okay, so you're not saying that Amber doesn't know how to put makeup on herself, correct?
No, I'm sure she does.
Okay, but again.
I would
you've-
think she does, you know, but for the most, I'll tell you what, over 3.5 years, living around each other, for the most part, she's not a makeup wearing person, completely natural. Her, Rocky, total great complexion, Texas natural girl next door, no makeup wearing, hanging out.
Did Amber ever tell you she was not wearing makeup?
Did she ever tell me?
In any of those 3.5
When?
years that you're saying she wasn't wearing it around the house, did she ever say, I don't have a stitch of makeup on?
As
sí-
many times as she's told me, I am wearing makeup, which is, I can't remember. So I don't know. Yeah, no.
Pero si la ha visto ponerse facial masks. Tú no te
Okay.
pones una
So now let's go to the
mascarilla
next
con
day. I think that's the day
maquillaje.
you've got
Entonces,
two
él la ha
times,
visto sin
that you
maquillaje.
saw her.
That's for sure.
She's with other people.
Yeah.
And she's either going out or coming in, correct?
Well, first time they're coming in, and the second time they're going out.
So they've been out someplace before they're coming in, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation.
I'll allow it. You can answer the question, sir.
Oh, I have no clue.
Okay, but they're physically entering the house. In other words, they haven't been in the house, they're coming to the house from someplace, right?
Oh, I would have no idea. When I walked out, who knows? They might have been out and twice before that, but I don't know. They
Okay.
could be coming from another apartment, coming, to go there. And I'm seeing them, it could be the second time that they're entering this apartment, or the first time, or the third time. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
I have no idea.
and do you know, so you don't know where they were?
No,
And
Of
so you
course
have
not.
no idea whether they were out in public someplace, correct?
No, of course not. I
All right.
wouldn't know that.
All right. And then the later time that you saw them that day, they were going out. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And do you know whether Amber had any Amica cream on that day?
Ay, su hamaca cream.
No.
Que él no sabe
And
que
I'll
es
try to make
hamaca
this
cream.
faster. Do you know whether Amber was wearing concealer, foundation, powder, or tint that day?
I don't know.
Okay. Now, the next day, I think you said it was she and Whitney. Is that correct?
On Wednesday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, do you know whether she was wearing any Amica cream?
Sí.
So if you could just answer
I'm
the
sorry.
question.
I'm totally sorry.
Thank you,
Sorry.
sir.
That, no.
And do you know whether she was wearing concealer, foundation, powder, or tint?
No,
Okay. Can you tell me what Amber's hairstyle was on the 23rd?
That's Monday. Like I said, when she knocks on my door, hands down.
Okay. Can you tell me what she was wearing that day?
Not exactly, but if best of my recollection, pair of dungarees and a t-shirt.
Okay.
At the time when she knocked on my door to give me the key. If she went home to go change or something like that, I got no clue.
Okay. Do you remember what color the t-shirt was?
I think it might have been white, best of my recollection.
Do you remember what jewelry Amber had on? Okay, let's go to the next day, the Wednesday, and you've got all these people here.
Next day is Tuesday.
Okay, next day, Tuesday, is when you had the bunch of people coming together to her house the first time, right?
Right.
What was she wearing then?
You want to know something? I do remember of a women's beige long coat, kind of like a woman's, not a raincoat, but it could be similar to that. It was a beige, long, kind of looking like a business coat type of thing. A female version of a Columbo jacket.
Okay, and what was she wearing under it?
Oh, I have no clue.
And do you remember what jewelry she was wearing?
No.
Okay. Now, you said that on the 22nd that you kissed her on the cheek.
What day?
The 22nd, your birthday?
22nd, Sunday, yes.
Okay, so when you showed it the first time, you went like this, right? And then the next time when you said you did the kisses, you went like this. What's your typical way of kissing women when you greet them or say goodbye?
I'm not understanding any of what you just did.
Okay, so when you, well, I'll just leave it at Amber. When you, I take it that you would regularly kiss Amber on the cheek when you used to say hello and to say
Oh, yeah.
goodbye?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And tell us how you did that.
Objection,
Could you
Your
show us how you did that?
Honor. Which time, regularly? Oh,
Did you have a different way of kissing her on the cheek different times? Or did you have a general way that you would greet or say goodbye to Amber with kisses?
Regular, it's a regular, you give a peck on the cheek, or, like you just touch cheeks and
Okay. So it's a pretty soft, it's kind of like almost a superficial one, or is it a really hard one on the cheek?
Mm,
No, it's, you kiss someone on the side of the cheek. I don't know, pressure-wise, what kind of talk is there?
I mean, is it
lip
just
talk?
one of these little pecks, or is it much harder?
No, it's a regular, you touch, you touch and boom, and that's that.
So you think it was pretty hard? You peck her on the cheek pretty hard every time?
Objection, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'll sustain it.
El punto es que hay contacto con la
You also showed that
piel.
you did one like this. Did you ever do a two kiss when you greeted Amber? Two cheeks?
No, I'm not European.
I'm
No,
from
No, you
Brooklyn.
give,
No.
Europeans do the,
Yeah.
All right.
both sides, sometimes you even three. bam, 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 you know.
But you
so,
never did
no.
that.
No, no.
All right, let's go to the fake punch. I want to make sure that I understand exactly what you remember seeing.
Yeah,
You said that it was 2 to 3 weeks into June. Is that correct? That you saw it?
it's got to be somewhere in that period.
Okay.
To somewhere in the first three, I would say the first 3 weeks of June.
All right.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Can you recall which week?
No,
Okay. So you saw Whitney and Amber. Was there anyone with them?
no.
Okay. Do you recall what either of them was wearing?
Long jackets. Yes, actually I do.
Okay.
Long jackets, you know, overcoats.
And how was Amber's hairstyle that day?
Down, pulled back.
Pulled back or
Well,
down?
it's when I say pull, you know, it's like hair's down, you know, maybe because of something around the neck or whatever. The hair is, you know, flipped back or whatever. Not tied back. I don't remember if it was tied back, but just where it's full. Full.
Okay.
That I remember.
Okay. So now where were they standing when you watched this?
This is where would they stand?
Yes.
They're standing, waiting for one of the elevators on the mezzanine floor where there's, I guess you could see, there's cameras that, you know, has that view of the elevators
So
on the
they're on
mezzanine floor.
So they're on the mezzanine level.
Yeah, this is the same level. This is the same level. There's apartments on that level. And that's how the exit, how you get out to go to the garage.
And so were they coming back from the garage?
Well, if they're standing at the elevator outside, that it could be, and waiting to get into the elevator on that floor. So it could be that maybe they came from outside, maybe they know somebody who lives on that floor because there's apartments there. I got no clue where they're coming from. That's not even in the thought process. When I see this, it's not like, wow, I wonder where they're coming from.
Okay.
No, it's
Okay.
just
So now
what I saw.
tell me where they were each standing.
As I'm watching the video, this tape, Amber's on the left and Whitney's on the right.
Okay. And then just take us through. Tell me what you saw.
Amber's on the left, Whitney's on the right. They're hanging out. Can I stand up?
Yes, sir.
And so here's Amber, here's Whitney, and they're hanging, waiting for the elevator. And Whitney they're looking at each other, yapping or whatever they're doing, and Whitney goes like this. Just a fake pow. And then they both start laughing, and then they're just standing there, yapping, doing what they're doing.
And how close does Whitney's fist?
Yo
get to
quiero
Amber?
conocer a Whitney. ¿Dónde está Whitney?
Oh, I'm watching this. It's a fake thing. It's not
Right,
like
right.
she went and she hit her own sister.
No, but I'm
She
asking
didn't go
how
and hit
close.
her. She just, going pow. If here's my face, if here's my face, it's just coming by. Fake punch going by. Just, that far. Making believe. Just making believe. It's a
Okay.
believe punch.
Okay. And then they both laugh, you say.
Yeah, they both, they just start,
Did you watch them get on the elevator?
no.
Okay, so the part that you saw, the elevator never opened during that time.
That's right.
Okay.
That is correct.
And how many seconds would you say, or minutes would you say this little clip was?
Oh, what I saw was 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Okay. And do you recall what day that was?
That I saw this?
No. Was there a date on the video?
Oh, I don't, if there was, it wasn't something that I acknowledged.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, now let's go back to the argument that you witnessed between Mr. Depp and actually Ms. Heard, who was on the phone or the speakerphone. Do you recall testifying about that?
Say this again, start again.
Yes, let's go back to, you testified that you observed an argument between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard. Do you recall that? You came into the room, Mr. Depp had Amber on speakerphone. Do you recall that?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Depp was drunk. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you recall that Amber was actually in London, not New York?
No.
You don't recall that?
No, I thought I thought it was she was in New York.
Okay. And you recall that Mr. Depp was accusing Amber of sleeping with somebody, right?
There was somebody else in the room with her, and that's what they were arguing about.
Jajai.
Are you sure that Mr. Depp wasn't thinking there was someone in the room and she was trying to tell him there wasn't somebody in the room?
He, say that again?
Are you sure he wasn't saying someone was in the room and she was trying to convince him there wasn't anybody in the room?
Well, he said that he heard the other voice.
Okay, and did you hear the voice?
Oh, no. I walked in there already. This is already
Happening.
Right,
See.
and Amber's saying, why are you saying that, right?
Amber was saying, "Come on, baby, why are you being like this? What are you doing? Come on, Johnny. There's no need. Why are you being like this?"
Right.
And it was taunting.
How is it taunting to say, why are you accusing me of having somebody in my room?
Because they were in the midst of no solution. At that point, it would be if instead of taunting, saying, "Listen, John, let's talk tomorrow, and let's end this conversation right now, and we'll talk tomorrow, and we'll get to an understanding." Because there's not going to be any solution right now. But there was none of that. It was just continuous. Oh baby.
So,
And that kept it going.
if
Baby,
Mr. Depp,
baby.
in his drunken state, was suffering from delusions and thought he heard a voice and wasn't, do you think it would have been reasonable for Amber to be saying, "What's going on? Why are you saying this? What's going on?"
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
I'll allow the question.
Sí, como es.
You can answer the question, sir, if you.
Okay.
Would I think it would be what?
If Mr. Depp was suffering from delusions and there wasn't anybody in the room and he hadn't heard a voice but thinks he's hearing a voice, would it be reasonable for Amber to be trying to figure out what's going on?
Objection, Your Honor. Hypothetical speculation.
I'll sustain as a speculation to that question.
And the bottom line is, you came in on the call, so you don't know what he said first or whether there was any voices, correct?
Whether he heard voices?
Yes.
Besides hers?
Yes.
No, I didn't hear the beginning of the conversation.
And then after the hang up, he went straight to bed, right?
No, after the first hang up, she calls back again, which was it necessary? I don't know. And then a third time.
Do you know whether she knew whether he accidentally hung up or not?
Oh my God.
That he accidentally hung up?
Right. Do you know whether she knew whether he hung up intentionally or accidentally?
No, the same way that I wouldn't know if, she didn't know that the telephone line got cut.
Right. Okay. So after the 3 calls that you testified about, he went straight to bed, right?
Went to the couch and laid down.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was drunk.
Yeah, and he went to sleep. Yeah, he went out.
Do you know whether he'd taken any drugs that night?
So, aparte de que le pone los cachos, lo acusa de delusional.
Known him for 42 years. You didn't pay rent at the penthouse, correct?
No, no one did.
Right, okay. And then after you finished at the penthouse, you went over and lived with him in Sweetser, correct?
I live in one of his house that he owns on Sweetser.
And you still live there
Yes,
and rent-free, correct?
yes.
Okay. And has, other than the 100,000, you never paid that back, right? The 100,000 that he's given you?
No, that's a thing that's a thing for me when how I look at it and stuff. At some point, I would love to pay back some that money, but that's not something that is expected. He's expecting.
Would you say you're kind of beholden to Mr. Depp?
No, I'm not beholden at all.
He's given you $100,000. He's put you
Over
in
a
that
period of,
nice.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole question. Can you say it again?
You were rent-free in penthouses for a number of years, and now you've been rent-free ever since in Sweetser?
That's a nice friend.
Yeah, okay. And I think you testified already, you're pretty angry with Ms. Heard, right?
No.
When?
I wrote it down that you
Oh,
were.
about the phony pictures that were taken and put in tabloids, and about the fake narrative, and about and the way she's trying to got a fraudulent DV claim to extort and blackmail a man. Yeah, that kind of got me
Pretty angry with it.
frustrated, confused, angry, upset. Yes, which is why I said the best thing for us to do is not to talk to each other.
Okay. And-
Yes.
And was it fair to say you're still angry with her?
Oh, you know something? It's 6 years.
But we just heard you
6
give your
years.
version.
Am I angry anymore? I'm not, what I am is tired. I want this all to end. Her to go heal, him to go heal. So, so many people have been affected by this malicious lie that she started and she created, and it's gone out the door and around the world. And so I can't even paint anymore. I've stopped painting for the last who knows how many years. And that's affected by stuff. I'm not angry at anybody. I want the best for her to take her responsibility, heal, and move on. And for Johnny, his family has been completely wrecked by all of this stuff, and it's not fair. It's not right what she did and what happened for so many people to get affected from this. It's insane.
And Mr. Baruch,
How this happened.
and Mr. Baruch, if in fact she's telling you the truth, and if in fact
Me hizo llorar.
Mr. Depp, who has engaged in enormous rage and domestic abuse and violence of Amber over a period of time that you wouldn't know about, then maybe it's time for him to take responsibility, don't you think?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection.
Speculation. Lack of foundation, relevance.
Me hizo llorar, Mr. Baruch. Me hizo llorar.
He just went off on this rant and rave about assuming that she's.
You asked questions.
I didn't ask a question that launched that.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay,
All right, next
you don't,
question.
I'll ask this.
Okay.
Mr. Baruch, you don't know whether Mr. Depp has committed domestic violence of Amber Heard, do you?
I never witnessed. I never saw or witnessed whatever type of claim that is being said, ever. I've
Okay.
never
Eva.
seen him be violent since teenagers from first
I didn't
meeting.
ask you that. I said you don't know whether he has committed domestic violence or abuse on Amber Heard. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. I did
Okay.
not witness any physical
Right.
violence.
But you have seen Mr. Depp use drugs as well as drink and be drunk, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
I've partaken.
I'm going to ask you to take a look. Let's pick up Depp exhibit number 116 again. It's already in. If we can. have
Las
another
drogas,
jury.
chicos, el
How
alcohol.
much more do you think you have?
I think I can finish it up if you give
Okay,
me
sure,
5 or
sure.
10 more
No,
minutes,
that's well.
maybe less.
Okay, all right. I'll
Thank
hold
you.
you to that. Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Bruce, I just want to make sure that I understand. This is the penthouse thing, and you
Ms.
said.
Berthoff, if you could go to the microphone, it's just hard to hear
Yep,
you.
I just realized that.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
So on this diagram, when you got out of you said 9:30 today, but in fact, it was between 9:30 and 10 that you came back with your friend, correct?
No, it was around 9:30. Could be 5 minutes one way, 5 minutes the other way. Could have been just.
Do you recall saying it was between 9 and 9, or between 9:30 and 10 earlier?
Today?
No.
Did I said that?
Do you recall, are you sure it was 9:30, give or take 5 minutes, or could it have been between 9:30 and 10?
It was 9:30, give or take 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, either way.
And you saw a broken sconce.
No,
Correct.
I did not see a broken sconce.
What did you see?
I saw a broken glass on the floor, shards of glass, pieces of glass, which I figured could have been a broken sconce, or possibly maybe something from the fire department stuff that's around the walls. So it could be something broken from that. But I maybe one of the sconces broke. I didn't see a broken sconce. I just saw the glass.
Okay, was there typically a sconce right there as you come off the elevator?
Yeah, from my memory, there was sconces on the walls, certain places.
Do you remember looking that night and saying, where did this glass come from? There's a broken one. Did you tie it together?
No, it wasn't. It was an assumption. It had to come from some of those places, because what the glass looked like to me looked like it might have come from one of those places. Could
Okay.
have been, maybe the sconce.
Okay, when you said from the fire thing, what, were you talking about the fire extinguisher?
No, not the fire extinguisher. There was in the hallway, that first hallway that you go through, the doors that you walk through after you get out of the elevator, those doors, they're fire doors that you close. All right, hopefully no one gets burned to death. That would be, crazy. But then along the wall, I believe, by the staircase, because there's a door that's next to penthouse 5, then there's the doorway, the stairwell door, and I believe there's a thing that's by the floor there, that's got a glass plastic thing around it. So it could have been something from that.
May I approach?
All right, yes, ma'am.
Ay, sí. Por favor.
Counsel.
Qué vaina.
You have
Wow.
another copy of the deposition.
Is this something for me to look at?
Just wait for a question, sir.
Emocionante este testimonio.
You were sure that it was 9:30, give or take 5 minutes, or if it could have been somewhere between 9:30 and 10. Do you recall me asking that question?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to ask.
Se ha llorado con estos dos testimonios.
At page 39, do you recall giving your deposition on November 20, 2019?
Oh, from down in Anaheim?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
And were you under
That's
oath
the
at that
first-
time?
Well, that's, yeah, I
Okay, and
think
that-
that's, I believe so,
It
yeah.
was about 2.5 years ago, wasn't it?
2, 3, yeah, like between 2 and 3 years, yeah,
All
sure.
right, so if you could take a look, starting on page 39.
Hang on a second.
Wow. Ya me
And if
tengo
you
que
go to the
poner a
line
trabajar.
21, where were you on the evening of May 21, 2016? And your answer was, all right. So I was out in the street. I was with a buddy of mine, calls me. He asked if I wanted to go out and eat. And I said, I just ate, just meet me. Let's meet at the apartment. Let's go hang out. So I met him at my apartment, probably, I want to say around 9:30 or a little bit later. I don't know. Yeah, between 9:30 and 10. Do you see that?
So I met him at my apartment, probably I want to say around 9:30 or a little bit later. I don't know, yeah, between 9:30 and 10. And
Okay.
that ends up,
So does
I
that
mean,
refresh your recollection that it could have been a little bit, somewhere between 9:30 and 10?
I go more with 9:30, give or take 5 minutes, because it could have been 9:20.
Okay,
It
but,
could have been 9:25.
but-
It could have been 9:35, but I go with 9:30.
okay. And did you see any police officers?
No.
Okay. Did you ever hear any police officers?
No.
Okay. So let's go back to this 116 for a second. And you said that you saw a lot of wine right outside of
Wait a
Penthouse.
second, it's line 115?
Sorry. The exhibit that's in front of you on the screen.
Oh.
So you go by Penthouse, now I have to hurry up to make my promise to Your Honor. So you see Penthouse 1 there, and you said that the wine was in that area, right?
It's in front of the door.
Okay,
It's a little, it's gonna be 1.5 feet, 2 feet up further north.
north, closer on the way to PH3?
No, it's right in front of the doorway. You have it past the doorway, the blue dot.
Yeah,
It's,
that wasn't-
it's just in front of that doorway.
Okay, can you put the dot exactly where it was?
Bueno, se supone que hay un video, ¿no? De la policía cuando la llaman
And
y
how
creo que
much-
luego vamos
how
a
much
ver
wine was there?
este plano, pero
a
real,
puddle.
¿no?
It was a
En
puddle.
video.
Puddle of wine.
Could you walk past it without seeing it?
No.
It was, and could you tell a little bit about how much probably had been spilled of the wine? I mean, were we talking like a half a bottle,
Looked like, a couple of glasses of wine, making a puddle.
okay?
Wasn't like a full bottle. It's,
Okay.
that's a bit more.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I do have another exhibit I need to put in, and I think that might take a little bit longer than a couple of minutes.
Well, how
So-
much time are you talking?
Well, I can do it as fast as I can,
You
but,
can try.
okay,
good.
then can we Heather, can you pick up?
Sí,
well,
porque
it's gonna be
queremos ir a almorzar, por
exhibit
favor.
548. Now, do you have a recollection of Mr. Depp having a volatile relationship with his earlier partner, Vanessa Paradis?
No, but then again, I wasn't, I met her a couple of times. We weren't, our paths weren't crossing at that particular time when they were together.
All right, do you recall Mr. Depp ever referring to a circumstance with her as carnage?
Carnage.
What's the relevance?
We're talking, he's trying to give character testimony here, and I'll tell you what, I'll move to a different
Okay.
one.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
you said that Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard were, you said that they were always nice to each other?
Yeah.
Do you ever remember Mr. Depp referring to Amber with the term cunt?
Can't.
to her face?
So evil.
No, to you, calling her a cunt to you.
Maybe in a text.
All right, did he do it more than once in a
Oh,
text?
I would have no recollection of that. I mean, he's called me a cunt in a text. So, I mean, it
You're
could
a
be,
cunt,
I
and
don't
you're a
know how
cunt.
many, texts. If there's something specific, if you could show me a text, that would be a different story. I don't, you know, we've had many texts together, you know.
Okay, let's go to line 57 then.
And I'm a cunt.
The section 57 of the exhibit that I have in front of me. Now, this is a text message between you and Mr. Depp. Do you see that?
Well, there's 80 million texts on
If you
there.
go down to 50, go to the one that's number 57.
57.
Es curioso porque hace poco escuché acerca de esa palabra
This is from
cunt
me
en
to him.
particular
I'm sorry.
y
May I approach?
es otra perspectiva de la palabra que al fin y al cabo describe como los genitales femeninos, pero en su totalidad, ¿cierto? Como que no separa una cosa de la otra, como lo viene a ser como el clítoris, la vagina, o sea, o sea, como que la palabra cunt es la única palabra que envuelve todo el sexo femenino, entonces desde una perspectiva diferente, actually no hay por qué sentirse, ¿cómo diría yo? Ofendido o ofendida si alguien te llama cunt. Realmente es como que es la completidad, como el sexo femenino todo completo, ¿cierto? Es una perspectiva diferente y yo sé, a algunas personas les parece como que, so offensive, pero bueno, igual, si crees o no crees que la palabra cunt es ofensiva, igual que llame a alguien cunt, eso da pie a que piensen que también le pega y le hace todas estas
Are you on
cosas.
57?
No
Yeah,
creo, I don't know.
57.
right. And this is to you, correct, from Mr. Depp?
Is that how it's, this says from to 323-445-2400. That used to be my telephone number, so.
That's two, correct?
Oh, okay, I understand,
right.
Yes.
All right, and
That's to me.
all right, and the message he's sending to you, and this is October
Mi
18,
pregunta es,
2016,
¿cómo obtienen
hopefully
todos
that
estos
objection, Your Honor,
mensajes de texto? O
Exhibit's
sea,
not
todo lo que
evidence, so
estamos
she's reading
escribiendo
directly from
en
it into
algún
the record.
momento puede ser utilizado en nuestra
all
contra.
right, does this refresh
Hmm.
your recollection that Mr. Depp referred to Amber Heard as a cunt, and in fact, cunt's rotting corpse is decomposing?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain the objection if you rephrase.
I'll ask it differently. Do you recall Mr. Depp ever telling you that he, in base terms, hoped that Amber's rotting corpse is decomposing
Objection,
in
Your
the
Honor.
trunk of a Honda Civic?
I'll allow it.
Chicos.
I'm not understanding the question. Say it again?
Do you recall Mr. Depp ever telling you that he hoped that Amber Heard's rotting corpse is decomposing in the fucking trunk of a Honda Civic?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
You can answer the questions.
Yeah, I say, yeah, I'm seeing it here. So obviously, yeah, it was said,
Okay,
it was written.
and then go to 59, please.
Esa mente rockera.
When you had to move
Mente
out of
oscura.
the penthouse to go to Sweetser, do you recall Mr. Depp telling you that this was Amber's fault and referring to her as a cunt?
Can I read this
Yes,
thing
please.
first so that
Yes,
way I
please.
see what's going on?
Ay, chicos, no, 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 esta tecnología. Wow, wow, ya saben, ni con sus amigos referirse a nadie de una mala manera, porque Dios mío. Wow, wow. Obviamente, pues lo que se dijo fue muy fuerte, lo que se escribió fue bastante fuerte, pero bueno, que no sé, a veces cuando uno está
So
bravo
now
dice esas cosas.
I've
Bueno,
just
yo no,
read this and I understand, I remember this exactly, because this is
pero
the period
diriendo
of
de un
time,
rockero, de pronto.
I'm moving, and that he's selling the apartments, and there's people who are coming over. I'm still living there, and it would have been better off if I moved out, so that way then the real estate people can look at it and not come in and look at the kind of paintings that I make and all that kind of crap.
But my question
so-
to you is, do you recall Mr. Depp calling Amber Heard a cunt and saying that it was her fault?
Well, it's written there, so yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
It's if. Well, I don't. That's not what he says. He says that cunt ruined such a fucking cool life we had for a while. I don't know. That's
And he
not.
says, I can't even look at the building anymore, correct?
Right. I can't even
Right.
look at the
And
building
he's selling
anymore.
it, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to move the admission of those two.
That can't ruin what we had going on. Okay, o sea,
Objection, Your Honor. There are some, I mean, it's a significant exhibit. There's definitely some hearsay in there.
I think I'll reserve on that, on the entry of that, okay, and we can discuss it later time.
ya van a ir a ese almuerzo. Yeah, I'm coming. ¿Ah? Sí.
I'm not gonna public, I'm reserving on whether, so are we done with Cross? Yes. Okay, and redirect briefly?
Oh, wow, ok, se
We're gonna be
acabó.
done with this witness before lunch.
Okay.
There we go.
understood, Your Honor.
Ok, terminó, o sea. Terminó y se supone que ya la
Mr. Bridge, do you
cross-examination.
recall
Ah,
that Ms. Bredehoff
wait.
was just asking you some questions about some text messages you received from Mr. Depp?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Do you recall when those text messages were sent?
No, I'd have to look at them again and look at the date.
Could you display it to the witness again?
Es esta femenina, este sexo femenino arruinó todo lo que teníamos, como lo tan chévere que tenían allá en ese penthouse, ¿no? Pues bueno, de pronto.
And I believe we looked at lines 59.
Quiero ver cómo se dice cunt en español, a ver. Ay, Dios, de pronto me van a
57.
cancelar el video por decir esta palabra tantas veces porque se supone que es una mala palabra.
Do you see the date of when you received that text message?
All right, hang on.
Oh, coño. Sí, coño. Ah, a mí me gusta esa
Month
palabra, me
before I
gusta.
moved
No
out.
sé, chévere decir, a veces la digo.
Okay,
When was that text message sent?
it says 10/18/2016. That's October. I moved out the next month, so in November. So this is from October.
So was that message sent several months after Ms. Heard made claims against Mr. Depp of domestic violence?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yes, of course. This is after this whole fiasco that she started.
And if we look at line 61,
What am I looking? 6?
what's the date on that message?
It's 10/28, October.
Pues sí, como que ya fue tiempo después, ya ella ya había salido en público,
Mr.
dicho
Bridge,
que
Ms. Bredehoff asked you a series of questions about the security video from the Eastern
que
Columbia
Johnny
building
la había
that you,
maltratado, o sea,
observed. Do you
eso ya
recall
fue
that?
meses
the
después, lo cual, pues bueno, uno entiende, ¿no? Que
When did you understand that
pueden
footage was
estar
from?
disgustados, y bueno, cuando uno está disgustado, lo más probable es que
I'll
digan malas
sustain it as an
palabras.
answer.
Did you have an understanding at the time that you saw that video of when it was from?
I'll sustain the objection.
Ms. Bredehoff also asked you a series of questions about the argument that you overheard between Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp on the phone. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you could hear Ms. Heard's voice on that phone, right?
Yeah.
Do you recall if that was a FaceTime call or if it was just regular speakerphone?
Just this speaker.
Speaker.
And what did you understand her tone to be on that call that you overheard?
I'll allow it if you can answer. It's fine.
Taunting, egging on, almost demeanoring, the baby talk.
Yeah, I'll sustain the objection as to his answer, and I'll strike
The whole answer, Your Honor?
the answer, yes.
I believe you testified that Mr. Depp hung up the phone during that conversation. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Did you understand that Mr. Depp was trying to end the argument by hanging up the phone?
His understanding of what Mr. Depp was trying to.
All right, I'll sustain. That's past speculation.
Your Honor, he heard the phone call and he was there to directly
But
observe.
what Johnny Depp's intention was, I'll sustain the objection.
I know what my intent.
Sir,
Oh, I'm sorry.
okay, thank you. Wait for the question. Thank you, sir.
Do
What was your understanding of your intent with respect to hanging up the phone on that
Objection, Your Honor.
conversation?
He already asked and answered when he said he hung it up. And so.
It was asked and answered. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness subject to recall?
Lo van a volver a llamar.
There's a silence. Okay, so yes or no, or not for you, not from you?
Yes,
All right,
yes, for us.
all right, sir, since you're subject to recall, that means that you may be called again to testify at some point. So that means until that time, the rule on witnesses still is in place for you. So you
Sí.
cannot have any outside information or talk to anybody about your testimony here today.
Y bueno, sí, sí es una pieza bastante
Okay.
importante, la verdad,
Alright, thank
porque
you
él
for your
vivió
guidance.
con
Thank you.
ellos, ¿no?
Thank
Él le
you.
compartió
All right,
ese
so-
tiempo dentro de viviendo muy cerca, ¿no?
all right,
Vivían
ladies and
ahí
gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our afternoon lunch.
el vecino.
We'll give you till 2:30 to take care of lunch again.
Aparte,
No
pues
outside
muy buen
information,
amigo
and,
de
please don't discuss
de
this case, okay?
Johnny.
All right, thank you. Good lunch.
Y miren, hasta vio a Elon Musk a hospedarse unos días en esa propiedad, ¿no? Bien interesante, bien interesante. La verdad es que, no sé, el cross-examination es
So we're back
cuando
at 2:30 then?
se...
Is that correct?
Bueno, vuelven a las 2:30 bueno. Cross-examination es cuando van allá a ver si los abogados que están en contra, ¿no? Van a ver si pueden sacar algo de información de este testigo, que bueno, pues es otra perspectiva, ¿no? Es lo que me parece curioso de lo que son las cortes, ¿no? Es ver como las diferentes perspectivas de una manera bastante organizada, ¿no? Porque bueno, la verdad es que es eso, ¿no? Es todo un cuento, es todo un enredo y como que se necesita alguien afuera que como que arregle las cosas, ¿no? Y diga, bueno, ahorita tú hablas, ahora es el turno de esta persona. Es increíble, no sé, me parece muy curioso y para nada aburrido, la verdad. O sea, como que bueno, ya sí me estoy cansando porque esto es súper largo, pero no es aburrido porque es muy real. Bueno, chicos, me dejan saber ustedes qué piensan. El día está muy bonito, así que no me quedaré hasta el final de hoy. Tampoco es que esto sea mi fuerte, pero bueno, me gusta compartir esto y es algo nuevo, es algo nuevo. Nunca había hecho un watch party, entonces agradezco a quienes están aquí. No somos muchos, pero bueno, realmente sí, verlo acompañada de alguien, pues es interesante. Si tienen algún comentario, cualquier cosa, pues déjenme saber. Solamente quiero cerrar con algo que tiene que ver con los nodos lunares, ¿no? Porque como ya sabemos, ya entramos a lo que es la energía eclíptica. Pronto el sol va a entrar al signo de Leo. Bueno, primero que todo vamos a tener el primer eclipse en unos 15 días, ¿cierto? Será al final de este mes, al 30 tendremos el eclipse, el primer eclipse. Entonces ya estamos en esta zona que como les he contado y si quieren saber más, pues tengo otros live streamings donde he ido muy a profundidad a lo que es la energía de los eclipses, ¿no? Pero así súper resumido, pues es una energía que se presta para influir, ¿cierto? Haz de cuenta que los nodos lunares son como portales que se activan en ciertos momentos y ahorita están siendo activados, estamos en esa preparación de ser activados y usualmente, como digo, si no se prestan para que mala energía entre, ¿cierto? Energía de baja vibración. Entonces, una de estas energías, si no es la más prominente, pues es el miedo, chicos. Entonces, vamos a estar como bombardeados de miedo, por decirlo así, ¿cierto? Como que vamos a estar vulnerables, vamos a estar sintiendo esa inseguridad y de cierta forma vamos a estar muy abiertos psíquicamente. Entonces, desde el plano astral o desde la cuarta dimensión, como lo quieras llamar. Y bueno, si quieres saber un poquito de la cuarta dimensión, pues te invito a que cheques mi live stream acerca de la cuarta dimensión. Pues es una dimensión que está aquí con nosotros y bueno, hay mucho sucediendo allí. No todo es bueno, no todo es malo, pero sí hay mucha manipulación, ¿cierto? Y es como una constante lucha de dominación sobre lo que es nuestra tercera dimensión, ¿no? Entonces, siento yo, pues es el plano astral al fin y al cabo y básicamente mi consejo siempre es durante temporada eclíptica, y eso que todavía no hemos entrado así oficialmente, pero ya estamos en la zona, ¿cierto? Es importante que nos cerremos, ¿cierto? Que procuremos estar con nosotros mismos, nada de canalizaciones, nada de nada, chicos, porque si no estamos entrenados, si no sabemos discernir, estamos sujetos a que cualquier entidad, cualquier energía que no quiere lo mejor para nosotros se apegue a nosotros. Entonces, bueno, ¿cómo las entidades se apegan a nosotros? ¿Cómo nos hacemos fáciles, cierto? Nos hacemos presa fácil de estas entidades energéticas que al fin y al cabo lo que quieren es ah, alimentarse de nosotros. Bueno, lo hacemos a través de, primero que todo, querernos a nosotros mismos y no vivir en miedo, ¿cierto? El miedo es de las cosas que más nos debilitan, es la energía más debilitadora del mundo, porque por miedo podemos hacer cosas que son tontas, ¿cierto? Entonces, bueno, tener eso muy presente porque como digo, si vamos a estar empezando, si ya no, si es que ya empezó porque ya al menos con lo que los eventos que surgieron ayer, al menos así como en línea, ¿no? Como lo que en las noticias y esto, bueno, ya está el ataque ahí súper, súper fuerte, chicos. Yo sé, cosas terribles pasan en el mundo, la verdad, y no es como no, es que esto no es verdad o es que no sucede. No, sí, la verdad, o sea, lastimosamente este mundo es muy cruel y am, casi que es asegurado que se nos va a transmitir esta información, pero ¿con qué intención, cierto? Porque si no hubiera una intención detrás de emitir esta información, entonces no se daría, ¿cierto? No se emitiría. Entonces, bueno, simplemente que tengamos eso muy presente, que procuremos no vivir en miedo, que disfrutemos de nuestros días, obviamente estando muy arraigados a la realidad, más no dejándonos influenciar y llevar por ese pesimismo, por esa negatividad, y ese miedo sobre todo, porque eso nos debilita un poco. Todo lo que es la culpa, la vergüenza, el miedo, todas esas emociones bajas nos hacen presa fácil, ¿cierto? Si queremos vengarnos de alguien, si tenemos rencores, esto es como que, wow, esto es de lo que estas entidades se apegan para trabajar a través de nosotros, porque nosotros somos canales, ¿no? Somos avatares, nosotros, así no lo creamos, somos bastante, bastante influenciables y lo que corre a través de nosotros mucho, son influencias que no necesariamente son de nosotros. Entonces, bueno, tener eso muy en cuenta, fortalecer nuestra voluntad propia, hacer que nuestro discernimiento esté fuerte, y disfrutar de nuestros días, disfrutar de nuestra realidad, apreciar esos oasis, ese oasis energético al que tenemos disponible. Y claro que sí, como dicen por ahí, esperar lo mejor, pero prepararnos para lo peor. O sea, sí, no quiero sonar así súper fatalista, pero realmente así es. Es como que sí, hay que disfrutar de la buena energía, pero también hay que saber que esto no para, las fuerzas malignas, por decirlo así, siempre están trabajando, ellos no se toman sus days off, ¿cierto? Entonces, bueno, es como, no sabría cómo salir de ahí, porque es como que eso va a suceder o va a suceder, lo único que podemos hacer es cambiar nuestra mente, cambiar fortalecer nuestra voluntad, eso es lo más importante, nuestra autoridad interna, o sea, entre más basados estemos, entre más nuestra fundación esté más fuerte, no vamos a ser presa fácil, ¿cierto? Y es así. Entonces ya estamos empezando a ver como, o al menos yo lo he visto, ¿no? Lo he visto como que algunas personas ya otra vez tienen miedo, ya otra vez están como que, oh, mira, nos va a suceder esto, nos van a encerrar, el COVID va a regresar, o sea, como que una sensación así de mucho miedo y de mucha anticipación, ¿no? Que qué es lo que va a pasar, en vez de disfrutar, ¿no? De disfrutar de este momento lindo, de este cambio de clima, por decirlo así, si es que estás en el hemisferio norte, y enfocarnos en las cosas bonitas, ¿cierto? Porque las cosas feas siempre van a estar ahí, así como lo están las cosas bonitas, pero tenemos esa oportunidad muy, muy linda de hacernos, de sentir lo que es la magia, ¿no? Y de cierta forma manifestarla, y todas las distracciones están ahí para decirte: "No, no, 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 no es posible, ¿sabes qué? El mundo es así, nunca va a cambiar", ¿cierto? Como que es súper, súper fuerte, y es como que sí, de pronto el mundo nunca va a cambiar, pero ¿sabes quién sí va a cambiar? Tú. Tú vas a cambiar, y eso es lo que importa, porque cuando tú cambias, tu mundo cambia, las personas alrededor tuyo cambian, y entre más alegre y feliz sea tu vida, más vas a impactar a los demás, ¿cierto? Por ejemplo, en el caso de Johnny, él llegó muy alto, y mira todas las personas que ayudó y que dependen de él, o sea, literalmente él 5 apartamentos, chicos, 5 apartamentos, todo un penthouse donde la gente vivía allí, y estoy casi segura que él era el que pagaba por todo eso, al menos por el apartamento donde vivía su amigo, pues a él pagaba todo, ¿cierto? Asimismo como pagaba por la residencia donde vivía su madre mientras estaba enferma, que eso me pareció un super low blow de lo que vi, de lo que escuché ayer, y es que un día después de que la madre de Johnny Depp muere, Amber Heard hace el papeleo para separarse, y también am, fue por ese mismo tiempo, o sea, fue por esos mismos días que, bueno, pone una restricción, pide una orden de restricción para que no pueda Johnny Depp acercársele a ella, y bueno, eventualmente se escribió el artículo donde decía que él la maltrataba, o sea, me pareció algo muy curioso, y que no sabía que precisamente su madre había muerto el día antes, ¿cierto? Entonces, como digo, estaba vulnerable, y lastimosamente estas fuerzas malignas hacen eso, ¿no? Esperan el momento en que estés más vulnerable, más abajo, y ahí es cuando atacan y hacen. Entonces, por eso recomiendo que no nos debilitemos, que conscientemente no permitamos que estas influencias malignas nos debiliten, porque ahí estamos y ahí nos atacan, ¿cierto? Entonces, bueno, vamos a ver, ya como digo, ya vamos a empezar. Ya vamos las cosas ya se están poniendo heated en general, ¿cierto? Para el colectivo, porque ya los eclipses se están activando y todo lo que tenga que ver con Tauro y Escorpión tiene que ver con dejar ir, porque Tauro y Escorpión son los signos más apegados. Tauro se apega a la materialidad, Escorpión se apega a las emociones. Entonces, estos dos signos tienen mucho que ver con give and take, con dar y recibir, y todo eso es lo que los nodos vienen aquí como que a quitarnos o a darnos, la verdad, depende, como les decía chicos más temprano, depende de nuestras virtudes, depende de qué virtudes hemos nutrido dentro de nosotros, porque si hemos dado generosidad, moralidad, sabiduría, esfuerzo, tolerancia, verdad, determinación, ecuanimidad, pues bueno, eso es lo que vamos a recibir de vuelta. Pero si al contrario no hemos dado nada de eso, entonces no podemos esperar que estas virtudes se nos den de vuelta, ¿cierto? Entonces, bueno, hay mucho karma, porque los nodos lunares son kármicos, es como cuando llega la cuenta y con Saturno, ¿cierto? Es como que llega la cuenta y la pagas o la pagas, no hay escapatoria, porque no, es a nivel energético, ¿cierto? Es a nivel cuarta dimensión en la cual no hay escapatoria, chicos. Sí o sí tenemos que enfrentar nuestros miedos, sí o sí tenemos que enfrentar los resultados de nuestras acciones. Y bueno, creo que este juicio es precisamente eso, ¿no? Estamos viendo, ya sea quien gane, o sea, siento yo que va a tener esa sensación de, bueno, ya pagué, ¿cierto? O ya tengo que pagar por mis acciones. Entonces, bueno, vamos a ver cómo continúa, chicos. Como les digo, no sé, de pronto sí me animo más tarde entro, pero bueno, sí, la verdad sí tengo que trabajar y tengo que hacer otras cositas porque si no me quedaría aquí feliz, pero espero que les guste esto. Voy a seguir lo que más pueda aquí transmitiendo este juicio, como digo, lo que más pueda yo. Y bueno, ustedes me van contando qué les parece. Por favor, dale me gusta a este video para que me ayudes a que siga creciendo mi canal. Suscríbete al canal si no lo has hecho. Yo soy astróloga y lectora de tarot, aquí siempre compartiendo contigo todo lo que tenga que ver con crecimiento personal. Y bueno, también me gusta el pop culture, eso sí, sobre todo lo que tiene que ver con cantantes y actores. Entonces sí, como que añado un poquito de eso que ahorita estaba pensando y decía, uy, ¿será que estoy muy chismosa aquí entrometiéndome en esto? Pero la verdad siento que no, o sea, algo me dijo de vuelta como que no, o sea, tú estás, de hecho, chismoso el que está por ahí hablando y ni siquiera se toma el tiempo para estar aquí viendo, ok, esto es lo que está pasando en corte, se supone que estas personas están jurando, están testificando bajo juramento, diciendo que lo que se está diciendo ahí es la verdad. Entonces, sí, en parte es como que no, sabes que no es ser chismoso, es al contrario, es tomarse el tiempo y dedicar y decir, ok, al menos esto fue lo que se está presentando en corte y si se presenta en corte, pues eso es lo que es, no es esas noticias ahí por encima que te dicen, ay, pasó esto, pasó lo otro, aunque ni siquiera está como trending, hay otras cosas trending, ¿cierto? Esto no es algo que es tan popular, o creyera yo que iba a ser más popular, pero hasta el momento no ha cogido tanta popularidad, sino que al contrario, noticias un poco más oscuras han prevalecido. Entonces, bueno, eso es como el update astrológico energético de hoy. La verdad es que la pasé bien y bueno, les cuento mañana qué más insights obtengo y bueno, definitivamente compartiré también un poquito más del final de mañana de la corte. Entonces, bueno. ¡Mua! Gracias por acompañarme, chicos. Nos vemos mañana. Los quiero un montón. Chao, chao.